Welcome back. Welcome back twice. Love Phone Project, episode 55. I am Mike Robertson, joined as always by the foghorn himself, Mike Taylor.
Just call me the horn guy.
Mike, was Jimmy Carter's IRS the most flexible agency in the history of our government?
Potentially the most flexible, and also they had a hell of a budget. Go on a cruise and go audit somebody. Go take come on.
There
Come on.
are
And
a
they were
lot
hiring
of,
only the best. I mean, former FBI agents, they're not messing around.
she
These aren't
was
your
good.
mom's stockbrokers.
She was good. She found money where
She did.
money shouldn't have been. So
Well, and there's some other things in there that were shouldn't have been in there either. That I'm sure we'll talk
um
about.
yeah, in an episode that had a lot of leaps in terms of what you had to kind of get over, uh the IRS offering to show up on your boat because you're quote too busy is
Too
definitely
busy.
one of them. So
Yeah, that's talk about making an allowance. I wonder if they do that for all boat captains. Maybe it's not Stubing specific. Maybe it's if you're a pilot, a jet pilot, boat captain, they just go, "Hey, we'll come to you. Don't stop what you're doing. We'll come to you."
so I've never been audited. I hope I never am. But he never really needed to be there for it, right? He just needed his books accessible.
Well, he sort of acted like any second he was going to be put in handcuffs.
Well, but he
Like there is
also
a
acted like every second of his boat day was very busy, which we all know is not true. So
well, it kind of makes me wonder, like, what are you hiding there, Merrill? He's got a
$2,000 in
whole,
an ice bucket.
it's
Spoiler.
human trafficking. There's no telling what Merrill's into.
Yeah, he's guilty of something.
Something's
So
wrong here. Yeah.
we are going to get to that along with some other incongruent thoughts on episode 4 or 5 of season 3, the scoop, the audit couple, and my boyfriend's back. At first, I thought we were going to get the scoop, the audit, and something. I was very excited about that title, but nope.
No.
And we'll get to the boyfriend's back too, because that's even worse than the audit. Synopsis: uptight IRS agent Viola Penny audits Stubing, who tries to get her to loosen up. Tabloids are back. Tabloid reporter trails a female celebrity, and I'm going to go celebrity here. So,
Thank you.
in
Thank you.
in
I'm
air
glad you
quotes,
said that. Yeah.
yeah, because he thinks that she's hiding a secret lover, and a honeymooning couple discovers her ex is on the boat and wants her back.
Oof.
Those are all true and undersold everything, I think. So
Yeah, that doesn't even tap into what's really going on. Those are some
no.
safe storyline titles, basically.
Original air date, we're into October. It's October 6th of 1979.
Mm-hmm.
What else is on?
It's my favorite.
Well, I will say that the NBC shows did actually air tonight, but they
Oh,
were listed as potentially being preempted by Game 4 of the 1979 National League Championship Series between the Reds and the Pirates. But the Pirates finished them off in 3, so you got your chips.
was that the Bonilla Bonds era?
No, this is Willie Stargell, Dave
94?
Parker. Yeah.
You know what? I misheard the date. I was thinking 94 in my head when you said that date. I
Well,
don't know why.
wait. Oh, you thought this was a 1990s Love Boat
I don't know
episode?
what happened. I don't know what happened. I got lost for a second. Jeez.
Um, so that meant that we got the exciting conclusion to the uh, two-parter that you began with last week, BJ and the Bear, the season premiere. If you remember,
Oh, the
that
seven
was Seven Lady Truckers.
and Andre.
Snow
Yeah.
White and the Seven Lady Truckers. The highballers. We may need to do this episode. I'm not even sure we need to do both episodes. We might just need to do this episode.
Let's just do part 2.
Yep. The highballers under new leader Riker
Ooh, I like it.
are relentless in their pursuit of BJ and the piston packing mamas.
Whoa.
Especially after they find out that BJ, Snow White, and the Lady Truckers are hauling. All right, so I'm going to give you a guess here. They are hauling blank for blank.
Okay.
What are they hauling, and who are they hauling it for that is causing Riker and the highballers to chase?
I'm assuming it's not Coors, and it's not for those brothers. What could they possibly be hauling? Oh, jeez. First thing that pops in my head is bananas. You got to tie in the bear there somehow.
Oh no.
Bananas to the zoo. I don't. Well, because it's funny they didn't mention the bear in that entire they never mentioned the bear in the promos. It's
no,
like
and this is a long. This is a long synopsis that they didn't mention the bear.
Jeez. God, what would it be? Books for a life? It's gonna be some stupid thing where it's like,
yeah,
I'm at a loss.
All right. They are hauling currency for.
I would have never guessed currency. The whole truck, the whole trailer's full of bills, basically.
Money for the Treasury Department is actually how it was put.
That's how they move money in the late 70s.
The Treasury Department hired a bunch of lady truckers to move money, apparently.
And a monkey.
They, you know what? I feel like Hollywood is turning on Jimmy Carter here.
Well, I wonder, so is it there's BJ and the bear in one truck, and there's 7 other trucks, and all the trucks are full of currency? Like, where do that's what I'm wondering. Is it 8 trucks basically full of money that they're moving, and Kilgore, or whatever that villain is trying to get them all? Because why have 7?
So you think
unless you have 7 trucks, like a convoy?
You think they got a great big convoy trucking through the night?
They're missing that rubber duck, is what they're missing. But yeah, I think so.
Hey, they already got Big Bear.
Let's go. Andre's in here somewhere. I don't know where he is. But yeah, let's I say we skip
Andre is in this
1.
episode playing
Andre, right?
Go right to part 2.
Yeah, let's just go right.
Andre is in this one too, playing Andre.
Again?
I also grabbed the character names of some of the lady truckers.
Thank God.
In addition to Snow White.
Was it Sneezy?
Chattanooga, Leather, Honey. Leather, yeah.
What is this?
And
are you reading off Glow wrestling names? Is Hollywood and Vine in here too? Mount Fuji?
Love Boat royalty, Conchita Ferrell as the Fox.
Oh wow! Oh, so they have like code
I think we got to do
names.
this episode.
Oh please.
But only part 2.
Yeah, not forget part 1. We don't have that kind of time.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'm not that worried.
No, I'm not worried at all.
Just have a note here that the second and final episode of the Big Sheamus, Little Sheamus also aired. So excited to see what we get next week as a replacement, because you got to think they weren't ready to cancel a show 2 weeks in.
They clearly invested so much, in the fake Atlantic City hotel. I thought about this show the other day. Why not just have Without the Sun? Like, why do you need the 13-year-old to solve? Like, because he can't. He's too young. Unless he's like, it bugged me. Like, why are you involving a 13-year-old? Well, it just didn't make sense to me.
I wonder if it's I wonder if it was a Inspector Gadget Penny deal. That's
bumbling?
the only way that works.
You think he's bumbling?
But you shouldn't hire Brian Dennehy then.
No, he's not a bumbler.
You know what they should have done?
Where's Don Adams?
Once they realized this was failing, they should have traded Brian Dennehy for Steubing. Let Steubing be Big Sheamus.
Do a trade.
And then we get Dennehy for the rest.
Or let Lyle Wagner be Big Sheamus. Or Little Sheamus.
Last one here, and I had mentioned this previously. I'm trying to get the new shows
Yeah,
in here before they disappear.
sure.
So I wanted to mention 8:30 on ABC. So the lead in for the Love Boat this week.
Okay.
Our friends at Detective School.
Oh,
Mike, what's Detective School? Well, I'm glad you asked.
thank
It's the comic exploits of the wackos who populate a detective school run by a rundown PI.
So it's like Police Academy with like a grizzled,
Yeah,
essentially.
basically.
Before, I mean, it's before Police Academy. I wonder if
It
it's any
is.
good.
Well, so it had a weird run where it had 3 episodes in the summer and then came back in the fall,
Must have done
but
well in the summer.
only made it to Thanksgiving. So not
Wow.
they made it slightly longer than the American Girls, but we'll have a few more months of them. But
Throw
I
it
did
on
want
the.
to point out
Hmm.
plenty of Love Boat. Some of our friends are on this show. Randolph Mantooth,
Ooh, I like Randolph Mantooth.
LaWanda Page,
Fan.
the Great Briar's assistant, Dee Dee Donnelly,
Okay.
and the lady who tried to steal Julie's job. We're all on this show for multiple episodes. So,
I forgot about her. I mean,
but we're not
I'm
talking
down to
about
watch any.
previous Love Boats. Unfortunately, we're talking about this one.
Yeah. Oof. What is this? What are we in the
Let's
20s
see.
again,
Let's
Mike? Is that
start
what this is?
with.
Are we in episode 20 something? Because it feels like this is end of the season miggity miggity, you know?
You know what's interesting? I was going to go back and look at all our doubles.
Yeah.
55, 44, 33,
Hmm.
because like 11 was the Christmas episode, which we remember fondly, but probably wasn't a very good episode.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
22 was
Mm.
the O'Rourke episode, which we loved.
That's a great episode. One of my
Uh,
favorites.
44 was the robot in the pool one.
That's another good one.
Oh no, I'm sorry, incorrect.
Hmm.
44 was the Gopher flashback
Oh,
dream episode.
whoa.
That's Dream Girls.
Aside from the
Top of
super
my head, I
catchy
cannot remember
song.
what 33 was. Yeah.
Mm,
Dream Girls, gotta get you. Anyway, on this one, let's start with, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this, so apologies. Ray,
excuse.
but Ken, yeah,
You talking about
Ray.
Ray Romano? Because he
I
looks
wish it
just
was Ray
like.
Romano.
Also, Love Boat episode 33, How to Survive on 9 Peanuts a Day and a Dynamite
Oh,
Ghost.
that was a
Combustible
bad
coleslaw.
episode.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Okay, so the doubles might be bad,
Yeah,
except
they
for
might be bad.
Overworked.
The first one was good. Yeah. Or second one was good.
Yes. Okay. So the Ray Buchan, whatever, is Simon Scott. That is our fearless reporter from the tabloid. It's his first of 3 appearances for him. He'll be back in 6 and 8. He looked very familiar and interesting enough. His IMDb page, when he's a little older and he has glasses, he looks very familiar, but really, he was in Heat, but I don't remember a lot of character names in Heat that weren't like the big people.
No, me neither.
Um,
I know my wife and I were watching it and she swore. She's like, oh, that's the dad from Seventh Heaven or some show like that. But I
no,
couldn't find it. I was like, yeah, come on. That's why she's not doing that. Come on. This isn't the
the guy from
Seventh
Seventh
Heaven
Heaven is
project.
very
Get
much
out of here.
unavailable these days, I think. So
Yeah, I don't want anybody's watching that. Yeah.
interesting though, he lived with, at the
Yeah.
time of this filming, Joyce DeWitt, who plays Jackie Landers. This is her only appearance on the boat, which was surprising to me. An ABC show that lasts that long, for her to only show up once was interesting.
I do want to say about Joyce DeWitt on the show. You could really. I thought she was at her best. She was great at being startled. You know what I mean? Like her physical reactions to things that like Jack would do on Three's Company was very like physical. She had a couple of those like reactions when Doc would come up. It made me
Yeah,
think of her character on Three's Company, but I thought she did a great job.
Interesting. I
Yeah, I
was
mean,
gonna ask
I think the character
you,
was terrible and the story was
yeah,
terrible, but
and maybe that's it. Because I feel like we might have a bit of a Three's Company curse. So,
I don't disagree. I wrote that down. I was like, what's the deal with the Three's Company storylines?
yeah, and we'll get into the storyline. I respect them trying to make her the biggest female celebrity in the world, but
That's not.
it was hard to
They described
did
her as
not
the
land that
hottest
plane.
woman. They're like this. She's the hottest woman on television. No offense, Joyce DeWitt, but I was like, if Barbie Benton's not about to step on this boat, like we've got a problem. And it was not Barbie Benton.
Well,
So I
and
just don't think it was a
and
right.
here's the thing.
It's not the right role. Hmm.
It's it's not just that. If you're using hottest as, most on fire in terms of career popularity, they didn't land that
Oh,
either.
no, they didn't land that either.
Either
Well, I
way.
thought they meant the hottest because remember when she was walking up the steps, he's like, "Oh, that I
Yeah.
know that. That fills up my
Oh,
31-inch screen." I'm like,
that
so it's like,
photographer.
yeah, it was clear. Photographer. Yeah, the Kearns photographer. See you, sir.
I mean, to be fair, it was really
Hmm.
hard to pick her out with that disguise that she had on, but
You mean the glasses or the hat or the shorts?
much better effort, much better effort out of Phyllis Diller playing the IRS agent Viola Penny. This is first of only 2 appearances. Again, she just feels like somebody who would have been on the show every year, but she'll be back for season 6 only. Um, it occurred to me as I was watching this, and I think we've had a few people like this. Phyllis Diller was just always Phyllis Diller.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever actually seen her in anything.
I mean, I've never. Well, and it's funny because watching this episode, I fully expected her to be like Phyllis Diller on 100. With the
Yeah,
feathers and the hair and the over the top. And it was wild to see a Viola Penny that was not like Phyllis Diller at all,
right.
which was kind of cool. But at the same time, I now hope in her next appearance, I want to see like Phyllis. I want to see Phyllis Diller in that next appearance, just to as a contrast to what she played here.
I thought it
Be
was
that.
good though because when they had her drunk, she was Phyllis Diller.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it was a
Exactly.
nice like bounce back and forth. But yeah, serious buttoned up Phyllis Diller was excellent. Actually,
She
I was
was.
really impressed.
She was.
So,
Another thing too. What a voice on Phyllis Diller.
oh yeah,
Do you hear the pipes? Like she can just an amazing voice.
yep. She had a bit of a mini Pearl energy in this one, where it was just like she was going for it, but it didn't feel forced or anything. It was just like,
She nailed it.
yeah,
Dare I say, maybe another stubby nominee comes out of
the
this.
olds are killing it this year.
Olds are killing it. Season 3, season of the olds.
Season of the olds, it's Cocoon.
All we need is Gutenberg to show up.
Now he'll be here.
Yeah, sure enough.
The other half of the Three's Company pair this week, Richard Klein as Danny Lucas. This is first of 4 for him. He's back in 4, 6, and 8. Of course, he played the great Larry Dallas on Three's Company. And weirdly, only 1 episode of the spinoff. I thought he was Jack Tripper's best friend, but he only met him once after he moved out.
What on Three's a Crowd?
Yeah.
Wow. I will say, let
Also,
me
he
ask you my.
appeared.
Yeah. I out of the Three's Company actors, these two, who had the worst storyline as far as they were concerned? Because I was thinking about that too, about like the sort of the curse of the Three's Company. But
The worst storyline is the honeymooners.
1000%.
Because I actually think
I get uncomfortable in that storyline.
that for the Joyce DeWitt storyline is actually really good if they nailed it. It
Yeah,
just was like there were some parts that were, and I think, and we will get to it, there are just some parts in it that you watch it in 2025, it really does
it's bad.
startle you
Yeah, it's not
a little
good.
bit. But I thought that was a good idea. It was just weird casting, I
It's
think,
not
and some
executed. You had all the
weird
wrong people.
casting and some ludicrous paparazzi hiding from the reporting staff at Starlight Magazine.
Yeah, I don't know. Mm. Why wouldn't they have one person writing and taking the pictures? Wouldn't it be cheaper just from paying for a cruise standpoint? Hey, buddy,
They must have a
why
lot
don't
of
you
money.
give your camera to? Well, that's true.
Yeah. Well, you know, that reporter also, that camera guy also had to be the narrator. So,
Oh yeah. Hey, I figured it
hey,
out. Oh,
hey,
thanks,
he's a
cameraman.
patsy.
I know what it is. That's a distraction. Yeah.
Wanted to point out that Richard Klein was in 9 episodes of It's a Living over the years. I think he was Jan, the redhead's boyfriend. So, but I do remember that. I don't know that I would have
Do
remembered
remember
it
that
before I
too.
looked it up, but
I remember him. Like he was just that. Did they always have him in that Larry Dallas sort of type? I wonder outside of because he was so good at it.
well, and this was a classic I'm going to go against type, which we always respect,
We do
but
respect.
it was
Probably
that
like the
meant he was just the most passive patsy
kind of like
cucked
this one.
guy ever. So,
Kind of like he was in this episode. That's weird. Hmm.
speaking of his betrothed ish in this one, Jennifer Salt plays Trish Patricia Lucas. Only appearance for her. I'm gonna say thank God. I thought she was actually very bad in this.
She's bad.
But this is now our 11th soap cast member to show up on the boat.
Oh.
So
Well, I read that she quit acting because she was the
during
heiress
this
to the
episode,
salt. No, well, she should have. She's the heiress to the salt fortune. Her dad was Patrick Salt.
no, I heard. Wait, is she the Morton's girl?
Yeah. All of it. She's been at war with the Pepper family for eons.
Well, of all the spices, that's the only one she brought. So
Ugh, she's awful. She's just hateable.
the only thing that saved that storyline a little bit, the great Lyle Wagner is back. It's
This
Jay
guy.
Kavanaugh. This is his second of 3 appearances. Of course, we remember last season he played Tina Louise's husband. He will be back again in season 5.
It's good to know. I just want to say this about Lyle Wagner. Number one, Love Boat Gold. This guy, he just gets it. The way
Yeah.
he's tan. He plays the part. He knows what he's doing. He gets the laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I felt like if they were ever to make a movie called Adam Bricker Cruise Ship MD, who would be better to play that character than Lyle Wagner?
Oh,
Oh,
you're bumping Bernie Capel from this
I'm
movie?
just saying if it was a if Bernie Capel was a real character,
Oh,
I
gotcha.
feel like I love Lyle Wagner. Now he's not Bob Crane level, but just because he's been on the show more than Bob Crane, like it sort of changes those things. I think Lyle Wagner is the perfect guest star on the show for this time.
We've talked about it, and I think at some point we'll do this where we'll make like an all-star cast where we have like 10 people or whatever. But
Yeah.
you need a guy like this that's a villain, but not a Buddy Stanfield level villain.
He's just it's like a
And
bimbo,
yeah,
in a
exactly.
weird
And he
way,
was
which is perfect.
2 for 2. And it's interesting now as we start to go through seasons and we start to see guys come back that we liked the first time. I'll be curious to see how many people like have 100% good, you
Mm,
know,
I see. I mean, this guy, like you're saying, 2 for 2, knocked it out of the park. What would
because
you
like we've
say?
seen we I'm taking the people out that were in multiple episodes of the first season a little bit because that was a weird thing. We haven't really
Yeah.
thought
What
about
about
that in that
Bono?
way.
Would you put Bono in the Wagner pile as far as 2 for 2?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, so far. But then we talk about like Juliet Mills, I'm gonna bring up because I
Right.
really liked her the first 2, but then that 3rd episode was bad. You know, it's like
Or,
so
or J.J.
um
Walker. You could say the same, maybe not the same outcome, but that second episode when he was a ghost was clearly worse than
yeah.
when he was a exterminator.
And then on the flip side, speaking
Mm.
of the Three's Company curse, one of the breakings of the curse was, Mrs. Roper this season,
Oh, she
but
was great.
she was better in each episode. She was
Yeah.
terrible the first episode. They wasted her. Then she was,
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous in that second episode, and she was really good in this one. So,
Yeah,
or
she was
this
great.
season.
Yeah, the one before. I agree.
Couple non-portals. I'm gonna say a Kernsing for Billy Landers. the son, the secret son of Jackie Landers, played by Shane Butterworth.
Yeah, actually, he's heir to the Butterworth syrup
Salt fortune. Yes.
uh, fortune.
Oh, has he been feuding with what was that margarine? What
Yeah, like Country Crock.
something? Yeah.
Country Crock versus Butterworth syrup. Good for him.
Um, he played Lupus on the Bad News Bears TV show, which actually I
Saw
think
that.
also aired this night. So if you were a big Shane Butterworth fan, this was your night.
I mean, would he did, and he did have a speaking role on this. He did have. I thought he had enough camera time where he should have been listed in a
And he's a
porthole.
focal point of the thing. The only
Right.
reason I can see leaving him out of the credits is because it was a would have been a spoiler, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
And again, watching this with my wife, the second she opened that door, she's like, "Oh, that her son's in there." I'm like, "How are
we'll
you
get to
doing
it.
this?"
I had a couple
Ugh.
guesses. Yeah. And then Virginia Hawkins plays Claire Rice. She was um
Oh, the therapist.
Billy's therapist.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
isn't he a therapist? We'll get to that when we get to the scene.
Oof.
That is everything before. Mike, any thoughts before we get on the boat?
No, no. Just it's funny. Before I watched this episode, I looked at the cast, and when I saw Phyllis Diller, I see Joyce DeWitt, I see Richard Klein. I'm thinking, oh boy, like let me get comfortable. This is going to be a good one. So going in, my expectations were higher based on the cast. Three strong, in my opinion, I saw three strong potential guests, and
Yeah.
boy was I wrong.
Yeah. And I think it's that thing that we've talked about it with like one, including Norman Fell, actually. But I was excited to see like the Three's Company people in a different episode of something.
Same
I'd never
here.
seen that before. I was excited for that. And then yeah, it
And it
didn't
just
really play out too
Well,
well.
who was the best if we had to go back? It's easily Jack. Would you say that it was John Ritter who was the best guest? Was he better than Mrs.
Suzanne
Roper?
Summers was pretty good.
Suzanne Summers was good. Well, he had a big role. I think he had a bigger role than them as well.
That's fair. And I think the other
You
thing
know?
is too, episode one, I don't think we had any context
No.
as far as Suzanne Summers, but that was a really good. She might have even gotten a stubby nom for that.
Yes, I think she did. I think if that wasn't episode one, if that was later in the series, I think maybe we would have looked at it a bit differently too. So,
Yep.
R.I.P.
All right, let's get on the boat.
All right.
We start with Isaac greeting Gopher at the entrance, inquiring about why Captain Steuben has been holed up in his cabin all day. I feel like this question probably comes up a lot.
Every day. It's 3:00. What do you think? He doesn't. Okay. Oh, let me take it down a notch. I'm trying to. Too soon. All right.
Turns out that old Merrill is getting audited by the IRS.
No,
And as we talked about at the beginning of the show, since he's so busy,
so
with
busy.
his tour guide given, I guess. So they
I mean,
have
is he busy?
graciously God.
I'm just gonna say, he can't be busy 5 days a week every single week,
Well,
right? It's not like I cruise 7 days a week, 30 days a month. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how do you not
and
have
we've kind
time
of
to?
established at this point, it's been a long time since we've had like a week long cruise. So they
Yeah,
basically was Friday to Monday.
I would think.
I
There's
mean, to your
Saturday
point,
to Friday to
lots
Monday.
of free
Yeah,
weekdays.
yeah. How about Tuesday?
The
And
other
it's not like he has
problem,
to go to like DC to do it. I'm sure they have a local office in Los Angeles.
exactly. And that's the other thing too. And as we said, kind of when we were talking about it to start the show, his involvement is dropping off his paperwork basically.
That's it. He
Like
didn't have to do
he
anything
could,
but worry.
right. This is, I mean, you're more familiar with Los Angeles than I am, but I assume the, departing area is near office buildings that have an IRS unit that they can do something. So
It's a giant city. Like, of course they have all that stuff. It's just God. And now I'm like, I would love to see where he lives. Like, where does Steubing live when he's not? Does he just live on the cruise ship throughout? Does he have a place?
Like
Because
Sonny
that time we
Crockett,
saw him leave for the weekend, he was just getting on another boat. Like, what
but
is
he
he?
was
Yeah, does
going
he?
somewhere.
Yeah, does he live on a houseboat with an alligator named Elvis? Like, what is?
It'd be great if that's where
I
they
just
got.
wonder. Just no socks.
Yeah. So weird start to the audit, but I'm sure that's how things work in real life in
Oh yeah,
1979.
sure.
Um, Steubing comes out because they're asking like, "Oh, how's he holding up?" And Steubing comes out like a nervous, jittery wreck and runs back to change his outfit so it looks more, I guess, more pauperish. So
Yeah, I mean, get on the slightly dirty one. Give me one with grease stains on it to make me look like the
yeah.
common man.
Well, you can't give him one of those jelly donut stains because that would be
Just
you
he's
gotta
just cut
you gotta
all
report
of
those donuts.
all of them have a raspberry streak right down.
You think he's trying to write off his donuts?
He's trying to write off the laundry he has to do as a result of him eating those donuts. That's what he's doing.
Uh, for the second straight week, we are back in the parking lot.
Love it. Love
Um,
this set.
this time, the driver of the cab does not get out, jump on boat with the people that he drove, and leave the car there for dead.
Leave the car running. See ya. I wonder if it's the same cab. They just found it
I
there.
was,
Like,
yeah. That guy does not have a medallion. He
no, no,
just
no.
stole
He's just some rando guy.
it. Two gentlemen pour out of the cab, manage to drop the necessary exposition in one exit. Now,
Hmm.
we have complained about this a little bit this season, but we were not given these guys names for a very long time. So
No.
we start with the reporter and the photographer. And they are heading on the cruise with the plum assignment of digging up some dirt on the sexiest lady in television. So there you go, Mike. It wasn't even hot. It was
Oh, it was not. It was
sexiest.
sexiest. So no room for. I do want to say that Walt, the cameraman, I don't know if you saw this. That is David Mathau, son
I
of Walter
did see that.
Mathau. I thought that was interesting.
Such a waste of a math pal.
Right?
So
Like, why would you like give anybody with the last name Mathau, give him a porthole?
I thought it was funny that there was a Mathal and a Buttersworth.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice.
Wasn't it Buttermaker was
Buttermaker.
Mathal
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Bad News
yeah.
Bears?
Hmm.
Yeah. And he was, of course, feuding with the margarine people. So.
Yeah. Big time. Get out here, country crock.
Um, we have another fine publication to add to our list that, of course, includes Scuttlebutt and others.
Scuttlebutt.
Starlight Magazine. From the
Wait,
people
is
who brought
Starlight?
you. I
Is that
hope
the one that
Frank is
Vicki Lawrence?
involved in this publication.
Is that the one that Vicki Lawrence worked for? Why
She
does that
worked for
name sound
Scuttlebutt.
familiar? Scuttlebutt. Then who did 30
Who did
episode
O'Rourke work
33?
for?
Yeah.
No, that's the one we need to find out because we've talked about it a couple times, and I don't know who O'Rourke was working
Can't
for.
remember. I just feel like I've heard this name, this Starlight, but we'll see.
Well, there's this Starlight vocal band. Is that who you're
That's
thinking
what I'm
of?
thinking of. That's what I
Yeah.
love vocal bands.
Um, the reporter is very kind of like not into this dirt digging assignment. He points out that Jackie Landers sounds like a decent person, but the photographer's got no time for that crap.
Yeah.
He's like, she's traveling incognito with a mystery man. Scandalous. So,
What an effort. You're going to book yourself on a cruise ship to potentially get a picture of her with somebody that she's traveling with. She must be the sexiest lady on TV to go through, all these efforts. And you're the only photographer that made the trip. Is she really the hottest? Like paparazzi I always thought was plural. Not not Walter Matthau's son with a camera and a reluctant Ray Romano who doesn't want to write the story. I mean,
Well, and I will point this out as we go
yeah,
on through the episode, but like she is on the deck in the hallways multiple times
yeah,
in no more disguise than a pair of sunglasses runs into anybody.
yeah.
Like ever.
She's not trying to
Mona
protect.
Maxwell got 5 times the crowd around her. So
Well, think about there was a woman on the ship that was friends with Julie that had
so
like
we're
a.
kind of setting up the fact that
Remember her friend Julie had that scar on her face that really wasn't a scar. Like that woman was more covered up than this celebrity was.
yeah.
Just saying, it's crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, she was
Wow, she had
she was
terrible
hiding from a
scars.
lot more than just the celebrity cameras.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It wasn't the knife wound. It was something else. Yeah.
Yeah. Doc spots a lady in sunglasses entering the boat, and he approaches her. Of course, he does, but he's doing mainly because he knows who it is, that she's a famous
Yeah.
person, Jackie Landers. She tries to protest that she's not Jackie Landers. In fact, she's Miss Harris. Doc calls BS on that immediately.
Doc's just putting in time
So,
because
as
he
I
wants
said,
to.
yep. As I said, the lack of crowd for she walks onto the same spot that a million people have walked into. She has sunglasses on. She's apparently the most famous person in the world. No one stops her. Okay, fine. But the photographer spots her right away, which means she's very recognizable to basically any of these rubes that are on the boat. But
I mean, Deacon Dark had a crowd. I mean, given he was
he
dressed as
did.
Deacon Dark, but I mean,
Phil
she's not
Backstrom
really
got one at the end. He even got a
right.
crowd.
That's what. So she must not be.
Um, she's trying to keep it quiet, and she's trying to get to her room, promenade deck 110. She starts to go one way, but Doc's like, "Hey, take the companion way,"
Yeah, I don't. It
which is
leads
more
right to his
secluded.
office. That's all it is. No, go this way. If you see an exam table, you're there. God,
It's
Doc's
just
such a
like
scumbag.
it's just a bunch of sticks and leaves
That's
over
it.
top of a
That's it.
hole. Like,
Oh, I'll be back.
so Doc provides this more private option. It is a terrible option because,
Terrible.
as you said, the photographer spots her immediately. So
And not even like the sunglasses, like they spotted her from the back.
yeah,
I'm like, all right, okay, okay.
hate to see you leave. No one fills out my 21-inch screen that way. So,
And that's tube television too. That's not HD. That
no.
is what's the opposite of HD?
Well, like you said, it's a tube television. Maybe it's like one of those
Cabinet.
black and white carry ones that you had to have, like the 9-inchers. Um, the reporter asks where the mystery man is, if this is in fact Jackie Landers, but photographer's like, "That's your job, bub. You find the mystery
Yeah, you're the
man." So
writer. I'm just taking pictures.
yeah,
And
that
besides,
fell's a dick.
do you know who my dad is? Come on, I'm not doing it for you. Walter
It'd be great
frickin'
if you called him a
Mathau's my dad.
putz. Get out of here, putz.
He puts the Bad News Bears hat on, just starts drinking canned beer. Where's Kelly? Like, oh boy, they can't fire him because he's Walter Matthau's son.
Right.
He just goes rogue. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Julie's being hit on by Jay Kavanaugh,
Here
the
we go.
smoothest man in town. Now, they did not give
Jesus.
Jay's name right away, but screw it. He's Jay Kavanaugh. It's Lyle Wagner. He's hitting on Julie right away.
You know that he smells amazing, right? Just
Oh
want
my
to say
God.
that guy's probably got some fine cologne, like lots of it too. Oh, I bet he smells amazing.
So I wanted to ask. So he is basically wearing a 3-piece suit, but has his jacket off, right? He's got the vest, tie,
Mm-hmm.
slacks. He looks really good.
Yeah.
I know we've seen various stages of people getting on the boat, but like, that's very overdressed to just get on a boat when you're just gonna get changed in a minute anyway, right? Did he come
Two
from
words.
work?
It's 2 words for you, sir. Jay Kavanaugh. Okay,
Gotcha.
that's
Gotcha.
what he's bringing. I don't think that guy works. I think he's got a trust fund or something because the guy took his shirt off and he was like bronze. Like no one. That's before fake tanning. That guy puts in hours at the pool. I'm guessing it's his pool. Yeah, that guy's not working. That's just Jay. Hello. I'm moisturized. I'm dressed. I'm Jay frickin' Kavanaugh. Let's go, ladies.
Now we all agree, but a catch this guy is Julie McCoy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure, Julie.
Of all the people that
Yeah.
have hit on her on this boat, is throwing up the stop signs on Jay Kavanaugh.
How do you
He
give Ralph? How do you give Ralph Mouth a maybe and Jay Kavanaugh a hard no? It doesn't make any sense.
she Ralph said, or Jay Kavanaugh's like, is there any mingling? And she's like, there's mingling, and then there's mingling. And then Jay asks if that's a yes, and Julie says that's a no,
There's
not
no
even
way.
a maybe. Like, what? Come on,
There's no way. There's no way she would close the door on that. He's a
no.
little older than her. She loves it, and he smells amazing. And look at him. How do you not pick that guy?
He is easily the best she would have done on this boat that
Yeah,
we've seen.
yeah. You don't see this guy fishing off his back deck. He wants no part of it. Get out of here. I'm Jay frickin' Kavanaugh. Come on.
Oh God, I was like, Julie, come on.
Like, what are you doing?
I'm not saying you have to be desperate, but like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth,
Yeah.
Julie.
Are you even looking at this guy? Like, just look at him for a minute, and I dare you to say no after that. You can't do it. Look at him.
I'm
Good
sorry, he's
Lord.
not a priest. Like,
Or
so.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry he's not 20 years older than he is. Jeez.
Danny and Patricia
Wait,
Lucas board the boat. And
did
it
you say I'm
turns out
sorry
that
he's not? Did you say he's sorry? You're sorry he's not a priest? Is that what you said? Oh, because of the. Sorry. That's really funny. I forgot about Potsy. Sorry.
Danny and
Go ahead.
Patricia Lucas enter the boat. They are newlyweds, like really newlyweds, like
Like,
5 hours.
yeah.
Um, Interesting. They are basically splitting the difference in terms of wardrobe from the other two newlyweds that we saw. Kathy
Mm-hmm.
Bates and her awful husband were literally top hat and tails. Robert Urich and Diana Canova showed up dressed like it was I don't know, like just a summer day at the park. So
Weird. Yeah.
these guys are kind of splitting it with, they clearly got dressed in like business formal, but looks like
Like
it
they got
breathes.
dressed to go on the cruise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that a thing? Do you think to
I
people,
mean,
what do you dress to go on the? I would think you wouldn't, but like I guess you
well,
don't see
it's
people in
not.
like flip flops and beach wear.
I wonder if it's an older person thing, because the people I always think of that definitely didn't do it were like the two pizza bet guys.
Yeah, that good call.
Um,
Well, then you saw hat boxes and wig boxes from other people too, from older, you
right.
know.
But like the older people seem to come in some sort of suit tie garb.
Not J.J. Walker. I'll tell you
Well,
that.
he
He
was
did not come.
he
He had a cockroach.
dead.
Yeah, he's too. Well, the first time with the cockroach stuff all over him.
Well, he
But it
wasn't
is.
supposed to be on the boat.
That's
Neither
true.
time he was supposed to
It's
be on the
true.
boat in
I'm not even
defense of
supposed to
Jimmy
be
Walker.
here. I'm not supposed to be dead. I'm not supposed to be here. No, it is interesting though, because it is like I wonder if it's like like you said, an old school thing. You're gonna get dressed to go on a cruise. If
Yeah.
you were going on a cruise, would you just wear normal clothes to go? I would think I would. I mean,
Yeah,
nothing
because
bad, but
my assumption is that I'm going to be doing something poolish pretty
yeah,
fast, right?
yeah, that's what I would think.
So I'm probably dressed like golf shirt and pants. And I assume I'd go I mean, I don't know. I
I
wouldn't
don't
wear a
either.
suit.
No, God, no, I wouldn't wear a suit. I wouldn't wear what Lau, although I would love to wear what Lau
If I
Wagner's
could, I
wearing. Just
would.
oh,
Yeah. After wrapping up a newlywed smooch, Danny looks over and he sees old Jay Kavanaugh
oh,
still hitting on Julie. And then he suggests to his new wife that they should head upstairs to find their cabin. Patricia's like, our cabin's actually over here on this floor. When she turns, she also sees an eye full of old Jay Kavanaugh.
Old Jay Kavanaugh.
But Mike, why would this bother either of the Lucas couple at this point? What's their problem? Are they related to Jay Wright or Jim Wright or Buddy Stanfield or Anson Williams or Walter Barish or Richard Dawson or Robert Urich or the 13-year-old or Jack Chenault or Jack Chenault?
Jack Chenault, yeah. I just assume that Jay Kavanaugh has bedded every woman on the planet except for Julie. So I think that's what's making. Julie's heard the stories, and Jay frickin' Kavanaugh's back. Like, oh boy, hasn't he bedded every woman on the ship? He has, except for Julie.
It's a not even a maybe. Patricia says to Larry Dallas, I promise he doesn't mean anything to me anymore, which answers the question we had. So this is a local bus this week.
It's a very local bus. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, of all the gin joints.
Yeah.
Danny asks why ex-boyfriends are never dwarves or hunchbacks. And then they both decide to take that suggestion and go upstairs.
I wonder if there's a world where Patricia Lucas booked this cruise knowing that he was going to be on the cruise.
I have a lot of issues with Patricia Lucas.
Well, I go back to last week with the whole like dance school opportunity, right? Instead of mailing him or calling him, she knew he was going to be like, I feel like it's more of that potential foul play was going on because maybe she wanted Jay to see her with Danny, and then there's a lot going on.
That would be, I'm not saying you're wrong. That would be a level of psychopath though, because I understand wanting to flaunt it in front of the old boyfriend, but you're stuck there. Like, do it.
Yep.
Do it where you can leave then,
You saw the way she was dancing with him later on. Like,
it
was like she was not putting up much of a fight, being carried
and
giggling in saunas.
She's worse the weekend.
She's one of the worst characters ever. She's awful.
Get that,
no means
get
no.
And Graver out for the nominations. So
no means no unless you ask again, and then it's a yes. Like what?
Nobody can sneak upstairs this week, whether you're a Hollywood celebrity or the newlyweds, and Lyle Wagner spots the couple as they go up the stairs and fills Julie in that the little lady was obsessed with me. Julie once again shoots down the advances by Jay Kavanaugh, and that's the end of the scene. Come on, Julie.
Well, this is two people in a row that have recognized people walking up the stairs from their rumps alone.
Yep.
So interesting.
This episode is hate seeing you leave, love watching you go.
Yeah.
Apparently,
we're playing a game show called I Know That Butt. That's what it is. It's just, geez. Okay.
Jackie Landers heads to her cabin through that secret passageway that Doc gave. Great job, Doc.
Great talk. It just led to a giant hallway. Real shortcut. Thanks, buddy.
So this hallway, you couldn't have picked a worse hallway to be secluded in.
So stupid. And I bet you that shortcut.
Exit's right there at the end. The big, you know what it is? It's the remember last year the wartime couple where the guy, she thought he was dead and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When they met and he limps off, he goes up there like to the deck. Like this is a very open area. Like I would think you would want to have like something in the mid threes. Like
or why wouldn't you book the best cabin to have a little, because where she is, the shortcut led you to that little piece of the hall. But the long way was just the end of the hall. It didn't even, it wasn't even much of a shortcut. No. Wouldn't you if you're this person, wouldn't you let me get the, that's not the best room on the ship either. That's the room that Martha Ray was in with the split room. It's no big deal. Stupid Ray Bolger. Like, why didn't they get like the biggest room? She's the sexiest lady on TV.
There's straw everywhere. So
and
That's why
pollen.
Billy's
There's
stomach hurts.
there's pollen on the walls and straw, and there's pollen on the straw. You know what happened.
The Starlight News team is basically just following her like 3 feet away, and they're just standing in the hallway.
They don't hide. There's no hiding. There's
nowhere to hide, I guess. But look natural.
that's just a lack of acting. They're like, we'd think as Walter Matthau's son, you'd be able to act natural with a camera in your hand. David Matthau.
Once Jackie gets in her room, she yells over to the adjoining room, "Darling, I'm here." So who could it be?
Playing.
A lover?
Oh, darling. That's a little slippery.
Here comes the fuzz. Gopher runs in to help an older lady with her stuff, but it turns out that older lady is Viola Penny, sorry. IRS.
That's a giant suitcase too.
Oh, there's work in there.
There's a lot of adding machines and long
adding machine. I bet there's a heavy typewriter.
Oh yeah. It's got to be the full size typewriter. There's lots of paper and pens.
One of those little green visors.
Yes.
After getting some Joe Friday acting from Miss Penny, Gopher calls for the captain to come over, and he introduces him to the taxman. Miss Penny is ready to get on with the audit, but Steubing, of course, always has something to do. Is like, "I'm sorry, I have to.
I'm swamped.
Be sailing now.
Whoa.
I'm sorry."
I just wish she would have challenged him. Go, what exactly are you going to do right now? Where are you going?
Right.
2 sticks, maybe.
Yeah, this isn't an audit about his finances. This is the princess line sending somebody.
It's an efficiency expert. What is it?
She's a secret shopper.
It's funny.
She pulls out a ticket. She's gonna take a ride, and so Steubing's like, "Oh," and he lugs her luggage away. So, what did Steubing think this was going to be? Did he think she was going to show up like
10
in
minutes,
an hour and do that? Like what?
Yep. Yeah, before they.
Oh, like just a quickie audit. Like, I'm sure this is fine, right?
Yeah,
like, I don't understand.
Dumb.
This had to be how it was going to go. It's not like he's sitting in the shipyard when it's not sailing, right?
Well, and the way he's dealing with it, he's sitting in his office shaking, trying to put on a clean uniform. You have to know. Come on, bro. She's not here. She's showing up. Oh, you're staying the whole. You're going to pay the $39. Okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I wonder how long it takes. Realistically, how long does an audit take? God, I bet you. I have no idea how that would work.
Well, I think in Steubing's case, because he was so meticulous with his stuff, I think it was probably pretty quick. And this is why this is his own damn fault. He had all his stuff in order. He just could have dropped it off at the office.
That's
and
it.
By the time he came back, it would have been fine. And if they had questions, they ask you then.
Right.
Idiot.
He's dumb. He's just dumb.
All right. I wanted to point out, Mike, because you have mentioned this before. Did you notice that Miss Penny's luggage had wheels?
I did. I thought that was interesting.
So do you think that's government luggage invented wheels?
Oh, because that's just not wheels, Mike. That's 4 wheels.
Yeah.
You have the ones you tilt. That's a good looking suitcase. I agree.
Yeah.
Easy to maneuver. I mean, steps are like the kryptonite to that suitcase, but as we saw, that's a well designed suitcase for 1979.
Yeah. All right, we get the horn. And
Did
from
you say you
horn,
want me to hit the horn?
We already got it twice. I don't think we need it again. So from horn to the next scene, we get 40 seconds of padding, which is not a good sign this early in the show.
We know what's up now. Now we know.
That scene starts with Julie asking Steubing how the audit is going. Miss Penny is currently in his office rummaging through every detail of my personal life, which I seriously doubt is what she's doing, because that would be haunting.
If that's what he thinks, imagine if that's what he thinks. Like his the way he's understanding an audit's completely wrong. Like he's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I haven't sinned. There's a full like, there's nothing hidden under my bed.
yeah.
Just it's just a weird.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the way this works in 1979 for somebody who's got their crap together, which he does, because that's what
Just
she says at the
verify.
end, is
Yeah,
you hand over an accordion folder and you're done. Like,
right. You know, and I'll take this and I'll work on this.
yeah.
I'm sure they're not doing like there's no drive-through audit process that takes while you wait. It's just
You know what would have been great
hmm,
if she's going through all his papers
yeah.
and those letters from Vicky's mom
Oh.
are in there,
Oh. In all of his lists, like favorite donuts,
and
favorite people that have a people my favorite people that have a crush on me. A bunch of
the
lists.
police report from when he got
Oh,
caught drunk driving
when he
through that
hit the
schoolyard.
bridge. All these post-it notes to himself. Don't drink today. Don't drink today. Don't drink today. They're
Sir,
everywhere.
I just need a receipt for your pants. I
Oh.
don't need your divorce papers.
Yeah, Stacy Stubing's picture. He's just got drawings, just all over the place. Why do the only pictures he draws are of jelly donuts? It's very odd. So
Stubing is wondering why he feels so guilty, and they all kind of go through. It's like, oh, it's like this, it's like that. It's natural to feel a little guilty. Gopher has a weird bit about taking salami.
oh yeah,
Weird,
about
weird Gopher week.
very weird Gopher week.
They were just trying to use him as kind of. Anyway, Julie sees Miss Penny on the deck, and so she's like, I think your audit's already wrapped up. She's over there in the deck
Bingo,
chair.
bingo, bango, all done.
Yep. Meryl
But
turns around with that dumbass smile of his, thinking good things are going to happen, but she just starts unboxing stuff.
she has a waterproof adding machine. She's added to the table now. Oh,
And Isaac says he should be very worried now. Jackie is leaving her cabin, and she yells into whoever's on the other side of the door that she'll meet them in 15 minutes. But as soon as she walks out the door, she spots the inconspicuous Starlight News team.
I don't know how she saw him. I don't see how she saw both of them peering around a corner. Wow.
If you ever saw a high school movie where they were trying to portray like a couple bad seeds just lean up
That's
against a
them.
locker, that's what these guys are doing. Like,
They might as well have been smoking and had like
yeah.
putting graffiti down. Like there was no blending in when they come
So I
out. Like
think to your point, this was Joyce DeWitt's ballywick. She was startled and then retreated in
yep,
the cabin.
that's it. She loves to be startled.
She yells through the door that she's been made by what she assumes are reporters. Quote, damn, they find out everything. I'd like to get a damn count, by the way. I think all our female actresses said damn at some point.
I wonder if that was like a new thing allowed on. I wonder when you could say
That you
words like
could.
that. Yeah, I mean you can get away
We
with a lot now,
haven't
but then damn was a I don't know. I don't think you
we
could say damn.
we have not heard a lot of dams on this boat.
No, 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 no.
We heard damn and sex this week. Scandalous.
Yeah, yeah, that was it must be new yeah, new I don't know. I thought that was odd too.
New season. Yeah.
New season. They can say sex and damn.
And,
Sex damn.
and up to 3 dams.
That was that was
While
shocking.
the Lucas family orders 2 more drinks, Jay is at the bar 5 feet away talking with Isaac.
Unreal.
Jay says he never backs down from a challenge, so Isaac challenges him to leave a big tip. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
New crew member, Wayne the waiter.
Wayne the waiter. He looks familiar, but it's not the same guy. Same look.
No. Wayne the waiter comes over to get that round of drinks for the Lucases, which is the first that Jay finds out that they're actually married. So now the game is afoot.
Now the games begin.
Isaac confirms the news that they are married because, of course, the bartender would know the personal lives of everyone on the boat within 5 hours of getting on the boat.
He gets a file a week before they board, and he learns everything about everybody.
I was at the wedding.
Isaac's very busy.
We don't count this in our wedding engagement list, right?
No,
Because they were
because it happened
married.
pre-boat. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you come on the boat married, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So that we are now at 4.
Well, would you honeymoon separately, right? Because we've had a few honeymoon, like you said, the Kathy Bates, and then this, and
Yeah, but I don't think we were putting that in our list that we were
no.
tracking this year. So
Mm-mm.
if we have another one soon, maybe we will. But
We're gonna
I think
have
all our
one.
streaks are currently dormant.
Wow, this is this episode will do that. Oof.
Yeah. Isaac says marriage scene is his idea of a challenge. Jay goes over to break up this 5-hour marriage. So
This,
I have a very deep cut for you, Mike.
please.
Lyle Wagner is wearing a tank top and shorts. I am 99% sure it is the same tank top and shorts that he bought from the gift shop in his last episode with Tina Louise.
Oh man, I need to go back and see that. That's funny. That's funny. Like we still have your on deck outfit, Mr. Wagner.
It's either that or he brought it from home.
Or he's got 6 of the same outfits. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't Wonder Woman. He knows how to dress like a superhero.
And he was on Carol Burnett, so he's used to changing outfits.
That's true.
I bet you this is from the personal Lyle Wagner connect. He
This is
should
from
have
the Wagner collection.
He should have been at Montgomery Ward with the Jay Kavanaugh line of beachwear. Good Lord.
He congratulates Lenny on the marriage and then begins to charm the pants off of Patricia, who he calls Trish, and we will refer to her as for the rest of the episode. He mentions that Luigi sends his regards and he calls her Bunny and says he misses her. This is all like right in front of her new husband. So
Yeah, Jay called her Bunny because she loves carrots. That is not why. That is not
No.
why. Just come on.
No. Danny asks how she can even talk to a guy like that after the way he treated her. You were just another notch on his gun, which is just a great phrase.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You always hear bedpost, but I feel like notch on the gun is even
That's
better.
Even better, yeah.
Yeah. But Trish immediately tries to change the subject by mocking Jay's lines, but in a vacuum, fine. But this was the beginning of a very suspicious line of behavior from Trisha here.
I want to tell you, this is an example of behavior as old as time. And I say that because although it's not the same situation, you always saw these situations growing up. Girl would be with a guy would be with a jerk. Nice guy would talk to the girl, like he would be the white knight. They would end up together, and then she would just go back to the jerk. Like it always goes back. They always go back. Yep. So immediately I felt bad for old Danny Lucas or Lenny or whatever they want to call him. But it's the same. But it's on her. It's 100% on her. Although if you're Danny at this point, do you stand up and go, "Hey, damn it," throws a damn in there, like, get out of here, like, leave us alone?
I might have let this one go. You get the one. I think after this, I think, yes. I wouldn't have made it past the second one. The first one.
I don't know if I would have made it past the first one.
Understandable. I don't think
understandable. Because at that point I would have been like, you gotta like do something to make this divide even bigger, because this is not. You don't want to feel on your heels as a new husband to your wife, because her obviously amazing former lover. I mean, come on.
Well, that's the other thing too. Yeah,
stallion.
Like he feels inferior. Like that's the only version of that I've run into as a married person, and I do think married trumps just dating in terms of all of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we were married yet, but my wife or whatever, we were going to a Christmas party at a bar. it was her work party or something like that. And a guy that she used to date worked there. And I think she walked in ahead of me, maybe, or something like that. And I think he was really excited to see her. And then I walked in and he got all glum and left. So
The
little
the
different.
only the only time, and you're gonna get laughed as soon as I start talking about this, is I was somewhere once with my wife. In fact, you were there with me. We were all there. We were at a party, a barbecue, and I was sitting next to my fiance at the time. We were not married, but we were there. There was jewelry involved, so we were engaged, and we're sitting next to each other in a backyard. And the person whose home it is comes over with his chair and says, Can I sit down and talk to you guys?" And I go, "Sure." So he places his chair in between my wife and I, but his back is facing me, and he's talking only to my wife, and he's completely turned his back on me. I felt like Danny Lucas in the first scenario right there.
Well, I will say this. That guy was not Jay
He's
Kavanaugh.
no Jay Kavanaugh. He's the opposite. He's the
He
not
was
Jay
not Jay
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh.
Uh-uh. Good Lord. But again, that's weird because I'm assuming Danny's a nice guy because he sort of was there for her when she went through this bad stuff.
Yeah.
She's
The
like, they are not going to stay together. I'll tell you that
the
right now.
bigger
It's not going to work out.
the biggest issue with all of this is the fact that you are literally hours outside of your marriage.
Yes.
Like this is a bad situation when you're married 3 years or whatever. This is the fact that she didn't shut it down immediately
Right.
is not a good sign.
No. And still, I wonder if she booked this knowing that this dude's on there. I'm going to make Jay jealous. You know, there's something else happening. There's something else happening. We'll see. It gets worse, but it's just uncomfortable.
Jackie is back in her disguised sunglasses. And she bumps into Doc in the hallway, probably because she's in those sunglasses.
So. She can't see anything.
She fills him in on the plot that the reporters are after her, chasing down some hot goss.
Oh yeah, the hottest.
Like a love affair, which Doc volunteers for. So
he loves it. No. Of course you will, Doc. Of course you will.
Doc did good work in a very bad storyline, but
I agree.
Jackie then heads back to her cabin, and when she asks the person behind the door to come out, give her a big kiss, small child emerges. Twist.
What?
Jackie says that mommy is going to change her clothes and then they can go play a game. I don't know why she needs to get changed for that, but whatever.
Maybe she's playing like Highlight, where you need like special equipment to play the game. That's the only thing I could think of. I'm like, what are you going to play, lacrosse?
You need goalie pads.
Where are you going? Even for like, you know, what is it? Any of the ping pong, you don't need a special outfit. I don't know. Okay.
All right, so that explains everything we need to know about the kid, I assume,
Is it?
That she's just, didn't want people to know she had a kid. Maybe out of a wedlock, maybe, a former celebrity lover, that kind of thing. So the kid heads to the other room, and then an adult comes out of the room.
Like out of nowhere.
Right. So it's an older lady, Claire, and she comes over telling Jackie that she can't hide Billy and keep him a secret forever. Which, again, doesn't explain the old lady. Thought maybe it was a mother-in-law or a mom or something like that. But I was like, okay, this must be like some sort of like affair.
Wedlock or
something.
At this point, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. She just doesn't want to know people. Okay. All right,
exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
So far, we're good.
Jackie starts to explain to Claire, who is a therapist, and she's just a therapist, and she doesn't know how these reporters are, and they could ruin poor Billy's chances of having a normal life. A little dramatic, Jackie, but okay, I understand. Anyway, I'm just assuming we're wrapping up this this scene. So Jackie keeps talking, but I assume it's nothing, right? So Jackie's
No.
just like, one photo could undo all the great work that Claire has done. So a nice compliment to Claire as a therapist.
That's
I don't
nice.
know.
Good
I don't know
job,
what.
Claire. I
Maybe
think
maybe Billy hurt his leg or something. I don't know.
she's an occupational therapist, obviously. She's
Probably,
helping with
yeah.
like his wrist mobility. Yeah.
Right. They could ruin it with a photo and a caption that reads, "Now, I don't like this word in 2025.
Was
We're going to say it
wondering how you were
once.
going to do
We're
this.
not going to say it again. But understand the times. In 1979, this was, I think, the accepted nomenclature. The caption that Jackie says would read, "TV star's retarded son." And then they go to break.
It's an awful cliffhanger. That's messed up, man. Like, because they just want you to go, huh. But it's such a broad stroke. That word. I'm not going to say it either.
Yeah.
Because it's not it doesn't specifically say, like, maybe he just has a stutter. I'm not trying to be funny, but it wasn't like he was
right. Yeah. Because
lacking
the
motor
kid,
skills, or he could write his name. Like, I don't know what the issue was.
And later Doc kind of uses, he's a little slow, and I think that's what it is. And this is obviously like just anything else with the Love Boat. It's kind of a broad stroke.
Right.
I will say the word jarred me. I just wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting any of it, and then to hear that word was very jarring or whatever.
Yeah, but growing up, like in our era,
of course,
word was thrown around so much. It wasn't a thing, but yeah, it's so. But it got me thinking. Like, it's shocking to me how much people use that word.
It's like, this was not a synopsis.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It wasn't in the synopsis.
Right.
It wasn't. We didn't have the kid in the credits. Like, it was all. I wasn't ready for it. If there had been some allusion to it, you at least would have been somewhat prepared. Like the Sandy Duncan. This kind of reminded me a little bit of the Sandy Duncan episode, right? Which was uncomfortable and stuff. But at least we kind of knew there was a grieving mother.
Yeah.
I think that was in the synopsis. So we at least had a little bit of a heads up. Billy Barty, when they used some phrases, right? We knew that was coming.
Sure. It was a curveball. It was a curveball. I mean, just like the, "Hey, darling," with that sort of non-specific, like, affectionate name for somebody that's more like, I don't call my kids "Hey, darling." Like, they're trying to play with it. They're really, baiting the hook.
Well, it's the old guy. It's Paul Burke dating his daughter. Yeah, that vagueness. Now, I will say this before we go into it. I think they did a good job. They were very delicate with it. The only thing that ever made me uncomfortable with the actual storyline, that part of it, was the word. And the only person who uses it is Joyce DeWitt, which is also, I thought, interesting. So I think they did a good job with it. And it's not their fault that we're watching this in 2025 when things have changed.
No, but you could also tell that David Mathau wanted to say that word so bad later, and he just wanted to let it. Like, don't do it, David. Don't, just settle down. That's why you don't have a porthole.
There's hours of cut footage of just.
He wouldn't stop saying it. Like, come on. That's why he never worked again after this.
We start Act 2. At dinner, Danny and Trish are dining, and they're toasting each other with water and then wine. Their waiter brings their drinks over. Oh, Blanc de Blanc, Trish's favorite. How did Danny know? Those drinks aren't from Danny.
Of course not.
That's Jake Kavanaugh, who's over at their side of the room, giving him one of them.
He probably roofied the bottle of wine, too, so don't drink any of it. Hey, I know that we're both men of principle. Any chance you're taking a sip of that wine? I'm not. I mean, I don't really like to drink anyway, but I'm not on principle. That could be Mountain Dew, and I'm like, no, not touching it.
I think so. Part of this, I think part of it that is baked into the plot that maybe I'm not giving enough credence to is Danny knows the history, right? Danny's heard the
Well, he
stories.
was there for. Yeah.
Right. And so you're probably coming into it with more of a vitriol than I'm allowing for. So yeah, and I am not now. I'm softened in my older age, but I could be a bit of a spiteful person. So yeah, there's a world where I literally dump that
What?
bottle on the ground. So.
I would think uh for me, I'm grabbing that bottle and I'm walking it back over to stupid Jake Kavanaugh and be
Oh,
like, I think this belongs to you. Leave my wife alone. This is the last time I'm gonna say it. Like something like that. Like,
what
come
if
on.
what if you pop it open and you shoot the whole bottle,
I mean, that's certainly
staring at him the
and then
whole
you
time
walk over and smack him. You know what I mean? I don't know.
with the
No,
bottle?
I
You
think you
break it
can't.
over his head like you're christening a ship.
I kind of view it like you're in prison and someone left a pack of smokes on your bed. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. It doesn't belong to you. I would give that bottle back to him and sternly say, like, look, leave my wife alone. You're a scumbag. Like, leave us alone. You know? Stupid
So
Patricia's
much
ready
like
to
Mike
down the whole
Taylor,
bottle. Ugh.
much like Mike Taylor, Danny is obviously bothered by this. Trish once again insists that there's nothing to worry about, no reason
Just drink
to
it. Yeah.
act like it, yeah, or and no reason to waste a perfectly good bottle of wine. So she proposes a toast of her own.
That's great. That's great. Let's get trashed. Let's get trashed on your favorite wine with him. Then you turn into this weird drunk bunny character. Like God only knows what's going to happen. It's not a good path they're on.
I know women who would have acted like this.
Yeah.
Not the actual acting with Jay, but like
Right.
the
Right.
don't worry about it.
Yeah. Same.
And I
Yeah.
think that is a little tone deaf to your husband or wife,
100%.
whatever the situation is. In terms of,
Especially
listen,
in,
you may not agree with me being furious about this, but you got to at least respect the fact that this is like on paper. If you laid out this exact scenario to 100 people, you wouldn't be looked at as crazy for being annoyed by
no.
this,
No.
you know. So.
But I also think in the time in 1979, I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. Because I felt like then like and this sounds stupid, I apologize. Like men were a bit manlier, in those days, I feel like. And I feel like this would have been that issue where, Danny Lucas, if you don't put your
Yeah.
foot down and put that, plant your flag, then she's just going to lose all respect for her. And it's going to drive her back to Jay Kavanaugh because he's like, look at him. He's alpha mailing you left and right, and you're just taking it.
I mean, are you surprised he never gets hit?
Yes.
I
But
I
I don't
was too.
think, but like, but if you look at the physical comparison, they
Yeah.
cast these people for a reason. Like, he's way smaller. Like, good Lord. Jay Kavanaugh is a giant human being. He would wreck. But again, you have to
Oh
respect,
yeah, but you could have
like,
done
he
like a
should
no
stand up.
sell.
Yes, he could have swung or whatever and gotten a
Yeah.
black eye, and it doesn't matter, and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But yeah, no, Patricia is not boo. She is boo. She is not good for old
Yeah.
Danny Lucas. This isn't the first
Yeah.
time this is going to happen.
And it might not be the last time either.
No. Mm-mm.
Well, enough of this nonsense. Guess what's back, Mike? It's the captain's table.
Yeah, the saddest looking captain's table I've ever seen in my life. 5
Is
crew
it the
members, an
captain's
IRS
table
agent. Wh-
or is it a crew meeting?
That's what I said. I said this is more of a crew table. There's 5 crew members, an IRS agent, an unnamed lady and her daughter. What? Why does the crew need to be at the captain's table? I could see the
So
doctor,
did
but
they?
what's dumb?
Am I giving them too much credit, the writers, that they basically slapped this together to impress Miss Penny?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what that was for. It was for,
Yeah.
but they could have used like a better looking table. Just throw some randos at a giant table. Like that captain's table does not look.
I think my favorite part of the captain's table recently has been that it just keeps physically moving to different parts. It was kind of back up in the corner now.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, it was down on the floor.
I also watched the seating arrangements because remember before they said it was very strict. It was like
Oh, you're
man,
obsessed with
woman,
the boy
man,
girl
woman.
thing.
I'm just saying they keep saying it, but we didn't follow it again. Unnamed woman and her daughter were right next to each other, which they probably should be. But just
Yeah,
saying.
you gonna stick the daughter next to Doc or something?
But I don't think Gopher should be at the captain's table. I don't think Julie should be at the captain's table. Like I don't know why Isaac's there. Like who's manning the ship?
Who's bartending? Isn't this the
Like
most bartending you need
this
right
is when you
now?
would need your head bartender to work, not hey, I'm going to take the main dinner off as I
Yeah,
am every night. What shift do you work, Isaac? I work 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
maybe he's
What?
counting receipts at the gift shop this week. So,
Or or he works the third shift dressed as an owl in the in the Pirates Cove. Arr.
hey, we haven't seen the owl outfit this season yet.
No Pirates Cove this episode so far either.
That's right. Miss Penny is regaling the crew with some fun IRS stories, including the
Oh yeah,
fact that she, previous to her time with the Internal Revenue Service, worked for the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
and they all like spit out their drink when she said it too. They all did like
Yeah.
timed spit takes. That was great.
Miss Penny skips out on dessert to get back to work, show how committed she is. So a Black Forest cake goes to waste.
Dude, I'm not leaving that. I mean, can we wrap that Black Forest cake up? Take back
Yeah,
while I do my audits. Come on.
get my chocolate cake all over your paperwork. After she leaves, Julie mentions that she kind of feels sorry for Miss Penny,
Julie.
and everybody's like, "What? Why?" But she kind of mentions that she takes her job so seriously that she doesn't have any time for any fun, which is not anything anyone on this ship does. So,
Yeah, we don't even. What do you mean? What is work?
this somehow ends up with a suggestion that Steubing could help remedy this kind of serious nature and loosen her up.
Yeah, like Meryl's like a gigolo. Like, what are you
Right.
guys doing?
Doc suggests that she might enjoy a Mexican moonlight, and Isaac says, "How about taking her mind off your taxes?" Julie seemed offended by that, but this was the interesting part of this whole thing. Julie refers to Miss Penny as Steubing's contemporary.
Yeah, I don't think those numbers match up at all. She's being very
Well,
nice to
here's the thing.
Billy.
I
Yeah,
think they have made a very concerted effort this year to age his character up in terms of the way he kind of was like
to make
father
him more
figuring
father.
the ballet girl
Yeah,
last week.
yeah.
And this, I mean, Miss Penny is skewing old. So
Well, because we know who it is too. I wonder how much. I wonder how old she was in filming this.
she was
60s, right?
born in, I looked it up. It was like she was about 60, early 60s.
That makes sense.
So, and Gab McLeod's probably 10 years, a little less than that. So,
It's tough because
but
the hair thing throws you off.
well,
You know.
and I feel like I think we ended up being right that we always kind of thought he was about 10 years older than Gab McLeod, like the
Yeah,
character was.
that makes sense.
So maybe they're trying to push that because once Vicky shows up, I can't imagine he's going to be chasing young skirts around this boat. Like,
Let's hope not.
because we're going to get like 2 episodes a season where he's like, I could see her being an excellent mother figure for
Oh
Vicky.
God! Every time now, that's the frame
Yep.
or that's the lens he's going to look through. I have more at stake now, Angela. Yeah, it'll be something like that. It'll just be, yeah,
It's every Hallmark Christmas movie because they're all widowed, right? It's just
yeah.
like
All of them. Everybody's widowed.
anyway,
Yeah.
Steubing says that he is, quote, not in the mood to go romancing a lonely bureaucrat. So,
It's funny. That's funny. Ooh.
all right, back in the Landers cabin, Billy is housing ice cream.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Which he says is delicious. As Mike had said, there's a bit of a speech impediment. Claire mentions, but he's been working really hard on that, and he does deliver it. Delicious is a big
It was
word. So
fine. Yeah.
nails it. And then when Jackie starts making convoluted plans for later, he calls Mommy delicious as well. So we smash cut to disco.
Love it. Love it. The small, and the band is clearly not playing. Like they're so far. So in this scene, I was watching the drummer because I just focus on the dumbest things, and he's not even hitting anything. And I was like, oh, this is really bad. Like the music doesn't sync up. I was like, they're not even trying. It's like
the band has a Hall of Fame moment later, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So after Danny and Trish wrap up an intense discoing, the new husband heads off to get them some drinks to cool off. But you can't leave your woman on the floor when Jake Cavanaugh's on the boat.
Not while he's on.
He tries to get Trish to dance with him, and after like a couple of attempts at saying no, she
just goes.
Over
she goes no.
Yeah.
He just yanks her. Like so what? So it's like, okay, no means no unless you ask me 3 times, in which the third time is really no means a yes. It's ridiculous. Yeah. She wants all of this to happen. She wants every bit of this to happen. It's disgusting.
She doesn't not want it to happen.
Oh, fair. That's fair. Yeah. She's not doing anything to put up a fight.
Yeah.
Well, she's putting up enough of a fight so she can say that she put up a fight, but she's not really putting up a fight.
But even that gets less and less as we go.
Yes. As we get there, but it's crazy. This is when I'd be out, dude. Right here. This is it. This is hard. I put it out the first time. I'm done.
This is absolutely.
Yeah.
So Larry comes back with his drinks, of course, and sees all this. Trish says, married now, a married woman, and not interested. But that head on Lyle Wagner's chest seems to indicate otherwise.
Like smashed against her.
You can dance with somebody and not have your head on their chest.
Good Lord. They were just, their bodies were just like glued
she's
together.
Dancing like it's prom.
Like she's dancing like it's prom and she's there with her boyfriend. Like this is not a...
Like...
She's all up on Lyle Wagner.
Yeah, no, that to me...
Done.
Everything else, I could see it. This one... And even honestly, the dancing is bad, but I probably could have. But the head on the chest.
That's what I said to my wife. I was like, that's the single point right there where I would lose my. That would be it. I'd be like, just here's your drinks. Have a great time. Stay in his cabin. Bye. I'll put your stuff. Like that would be
I can't believe we didn't get him packing up to try to leave and fly out of Mazatlan International.
Because he brought those, but he's got those shareable pajamas ready to go. That is his MO.
What a terrible honeymoon.
Terrible honeymoon.
Not a honeymoon expert, that's for sure. So.
That's a good one.
Steubing and Julie run into Miss Penny, in the hallway. She's taking a break from that intense audit. Julie, always subtle, asks if she came down to boogie.
After she mentioned Penny.
How
nothing about Penny says I'm here to boogie. Nothing.
Yeah, right. Penny mentions just how much Meryl donates to charity, which I guess again, why you feel so guilty, Meryl? If you actually do donate that much to charity, then the IRS should have no problem with you.
Maybe it's like a Walter White situation. Maybe he's got some.
Oh, do you think that orphanage is actually a meth front?
It's where he sells his blue ice. That one that doesn't serve any alcohol. That's why they want to keep everyone sober while they're putting out product. Something's not right here. He's Heisenberg.
That's why he was running over those kids.
Yep.
Witnesses. They were dealing somebody else.
They were dealing some fake blue ice. That's right. I got to take them out.
Oh God. But anyway, this charity money thing all of a sudden spurs him on to take Julie's plan and ask her to go dancing.
Sure.
Why?
Because you know what? He's a sucker for a compliment. He's so simple that all you got to do is go, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. You really have a high rank.
So now he's horny.
Yeah, now he's all horned up. You give him one compliment, he's just got to let the compliment, like the
Oh,
time the compliment means, like sinks in, then he's fine. But
if you put compliments on
Charity,
a donut, his head would explode.
oh, he wouldn't even be able to eat the donut. He would like keep it and be like, look what it says about me. Look at it.
Out on the deck, Jackie is approached by the reporter, and she quickly asks why he doesn't just leave her alone. We finally get a guy's name for this reporter. It's Scott, which turns out to be his last name. His actual name is Simon Scott, but
They
I don't
love
think
to
we ever
do
get
that.
Simon.
No,
He says that his readers want to know every inch of Jackie's life, which is interesting. There must not be any readers on this boat because no one gives two shits that
no
she's on
one
this
even
boat.
cares. Yeah, nobody cares. Other than Doc, that's the only person in these reporters that have recognized, and her son and the therapist. They're the only people on the ship that even like had any reaction to her presence.
Why couldn't you do something, right? Like even do the whole like, oh, you're so and so, and then she says no and says she's miss. But like,
It
you
just
can't have
adds
all these
to it.
other. Richard Dawson got like run over by
That's
fans when
right.
he came on the boat.
Demon Dark or Deacon Dark,
All of
same
them.
thing. But it's funny too because the interesting thing with this episode is I thought about that, and I when I first looked at the writers and the director, being that there was one director, I fully expected there to be more crossover. Like maybe
Yeah.
Patricia sees her and goes, "Oh, is that?" You're just some sort of acknowledgement that there's more going on other than that individual story within the
Yeah.
context of the show. I love those little trade-offs, but they didn't. They
I
didn't
will
have that.
say there wasn't, except for that, there really wasn't an opening, but it doesn't mean
Mm-mm.
you couldn't have had something. It just makes the boat feel bigger,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just mm, interesting.
Jackie tells Scott that there is no love life. He doesn't.
None.
I find that impossible to believe because once again, they're positioning Joyce DeWitt as the hottest TV star
The
in the
sexiest
world.
TV star.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, this leads to Jackie basically cutting him a deal where it's like, listen, there's nothing going on. In the event and there ever is anything going on, you'll be the first to know.
It's a
He's like,
fair deal.
deal.
Yeah.
But he realizes that this might not be a good deal for his future employment, but he'll take that deal. Bird in the hand. So,
Yeah. This guy's not taking that deal. Let's just stop it right now. They're on a cruise to catch her. There's no way he's going. You know what? We're in the middle of the Pacific. I'll just back off now. I'll just back off. My my
plus,
my my newspaper paid for this, and I got Walter Matthau's son with me. Okay, I can't exactly just stop because you can't control old Walt the photographer. He's gonna do what Walt's gonna
oh
do. But
yeah.
just to be like, yeah, rip, rip, rip. No, they're not. No,
Oh,
it's just
he's gonna buy Gary Collins's internet and have all sorts of like flicker pics and stuff. Like,
the only reason Scott said that is because he lives with Joyce DeWitt. That's the only reason he agreed to that. I'll do you solid because we're roomies.
speaking of that, I feel like
Mm,
we've said this a lot where some of the worst chemistry we see is when they're real life married.
yeah.
I don't think this was bad chemistry, but I
No,
was
no.
not shocked to learn they were a real life couple after watching this episode.
I wasn't. It wasn't overflowing, right? But there was enough sort of you could see it click a bit where
Yeah.
it wasn't. I wasn't surprised.
Back in the newlyweds cabin, and it is not going well. So,
No, no.
Trish insists that it was only one dance, but Danny correctly states that it was one dance too many.
That's right.
Trish insists it means nothing. And that Danny grudgingly accepts that. Says he
So
wants to get over it.
oh, the
But
worst
then
part's coming, Mike.
in
Oh God, this is the worst part of the whole thing.
so
Oh,
Danny has graciously accepted your BS.
more than gracious.
It's a honeymoon. He doesn't want to deal with it. He knows, at the end of the day, you're married to me. This is
Right.
all fine.
It's
Not thrilled
fine.
about
It's
it,
cool
but it's our
to
honeymoon, right?
rub up on some dude, your ex, sure, but we'll move past it.
And then when he kind of mentions that,
Oh God.
the past or some vague allusion to
Or
Jay,
he said something like, "You could have been married to him instead,"
and
and then
she disappears into a mind cloud. It's like
she's daydreaming.
clearly
Just
thinking about Jay Kavanaugh while
being
her
Mrs.
husband of
Kavanaugh.
15 minutes is asking to maybe not bang your ex-boyfriend on our honeymoon.
Well, not only that, she was so like in her own head thinking about it that she wasn't even responding to her husband,
Yeah.
going, "Hey, oh, I was just thinking about something. Not being married to Mrs. Kavanaugh and my bodies intertwined. I wasn't thinking about that." Ugh.
The only thing she didn't do was like look up and have like a thought bubble of Jay Kavanaugh.
Oh, or call him Jay. I thought that might be
Oh
coming
yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Ugh.
Um,
Done, 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 Mike. There's no way. I'll sleep. I'll
so
sleep Paul Williams style on deck if I have to. No way.
Danny handles this well. He's out of here.
Good for him.
And we get our second damn, this one from Jennifer Salt.
What is
I think
she
she
damning
realized what
about?
a horrible mistake she made.
Well, it's funny. Like, what is she though? Because she just this train is full speed. Like, it's
Yeah.
not. And at the end of this storyline, I would love for us to speculate on what happens next. I have a few ideas, but this is just not.
Yeah. No,
It's in a
this is
controlled environment too. Like, this isn't
yeah,
even the real world.
yeah. So,
Good Lord.
um Jackie returns to her cabin to find
Yeah.
Doc there. Looks like Billy's got a tummy ache from all that ice cream that he ate. And so Doc's like, he'll be fine. Claire tells Jackie to get some rest. I don't know what she needs rest for.
She
Like, what
hasn't
has
been
she
doing
done?
anything. She
So,
doesn't do like, but if no one's around and no one can see him in the cabin, why wouldn't she sleep with her son? Oh,
I
you don't feel
assume the
good? Let me lay
second room is
down.
for
Like,
Claire.
yeah, but Claire was like a nanny. I don't know
Right. But I
what. She seemed
assume,
less
like,
therapist. Oh, okay. Oh, the one that Janet or whatever Jackie was
yeah,
in was where the therapist was sleeping? Because I felt like Jackie was going to maintain her own room.
or vice versa.
Yeah. Like, she
I
didn't
just think
spend
that
any time
happens
with
to be
her.
the front room that she came through. But
But what,
theoretically, right, there should have been another way to get into the son's room.
right. Well, the weird thing is
Yeah.
too is why did you come on a cruise so you can sit in separate rooms from your son? What are you doing? Why don't you? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what's the
There's a
point of this?
million vacations you could have taken that would have been easier to pull this off than
And
this.
you can have vanilla ice cream anywhere. It's not specific to a cruise ship. Like, go rent a beach, go to a resort.
Maybe,
Like, this is the worst spot you could go. Hmm. Uh oh.
Bill-
Uh oh.
maybe Billy's like, I love all the ice cream I can get. And they're like, well, if somebody dies on this boat.
Well, good. I'm glad you're hungry. Hope you're not lactose intolerant. With all these olds this season, we have lots of ice cream for you, Billy.
God, so funny.
Ugh.
Um, Jackie explains to Doc that this is why, she's been so secretive about avoiding those reporters. She also thanks Doc for kind of his discretion, explains, Doc's kind of like, he's a little slow, but, Doc, this is
He's not going to
where
use the
Joyce
R
DeWitt
word.
says the same word again unnecessarily. Everybody else has found better words to use, but
Yeah, everyone's tiptoeing, and she's like, "No, he's
no, that's fine.
Doc."
You don't have to use euphemisms,
Jeez.
is what she said.
Bricker's like,
But
"I think he has a mild stutter. It's not really
yeah,
that." No, no, no. He's
no.
no, no. Okay.
Anyway,
Mm.
she thanks Doc, who says his lips are sealed, gives him a smooch, but you'll never guess who's there. That's right. It's the Starlight News team.
Oh boy, it's the crack team of Walt and Scott. Ugh. Well, let
Grumpy
me
old
hold on a
men.
second. But why you just need the photographer there? Like, what is the guy going to write a story on the spot? Oh, he's writing stuff down the hallway. Wouldn't you just, you know what I mean? If you want to catch a quick picture, what are you going to write a quick article too to go with your
Well,
quick picture? It's just weird.
right. it should be one or the other, right? Either you have a really good photographer who can get a sneaky photographer, and then you basically need somebody to just put what happened,
But this is the
or
least sneaky photographer I've ever seen in my life.
right,
This guy doesn't know how to be sneaky.
or the reporter is supposed to dig the dirt,
Right.
and then that leads to a photographer. But you're right. You actually don't need both. You're right.
No. Just write
So
a story.
this is why Starlight business went out of
They're
business.
they're spending all this money on cruises and doubling up people. Their labor costs are out of control. Ridiculous.
Their margins are razor thin.
It's terrible. The newspaper industry will never be dead. Yep. Keep going. Keep going, guys.
Julie catches up with Steubing to find out how the Penny wooing is going. Turns out it wasn't a bad time at all. He figures that she's either hanging out, dancing with Gopher, maybe have another one of Isaac's champagne cocktails. Julie with a weird, I think that's swell, and she at least calls herself on it. But
Yeah, that was weird, man. I don't
can we
understand
take
the
a
point of
second
that.
to talk about Julie?
Yes, please.
Does it
Something's
feel
changing, man.
Does it feel like she's been recast?
Well, it's funny because we used to call her like sort of the conscious
Yeah.
of the ship or of the crew, whatever. I I don't know what's going on. There something's happening because she's not.
It
The
just feels
path
a
of her
little
character is
different.
completely different. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't
And
fall for Jay Kavanaugh. She did like in this, and she's over. Something's not right.
and
Like
she looks a little different.
yeah, yeah.
She sounds a little different.
Everything seems a little more like she's just not as relaxed.
Yeah. And you can't believe that it's what we think it is,
No,
right? Like
I
it
I
can't
can't
literally
imagine
be
it's
she's got a cocaine problem in real life and
like on.
that's
Well,
that's almost what it, and I wonder if I'm being colored by the fact that I know that's what's
no,
happening behind the scenes, but
no. I just know that if you're excuse me if you're trying to maintain a cocaine habit, right, and you also have these responsibilities where you have to be on set and blah 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 blah, and I'm assuming, you know, the spelling production team frowned on cocaine use on set. I'd imagine when you're not, you're a
yeah.
little not like a caricature, but I feel like you're a little, or maybe she was secret. Who knows? But her whole energy is completely different this season.
It just feels like, and this is a compliment to her in the first, especially the first seasons, even last season. It felt like she wasn't acting the first two seasons, right? You know how you always say that you just think
It
of
was
Steubing as
her,
Steubing? I kind of always thought of Julie as Julie. This
100%.
feels
That's a
like
great
Lauren
point.
Tews is acting as Julie McCoy, which it's slight, but it does feel different.
Well, it's like she lost her bearings in a way. Like it's not
Yeah.
like you said, the character switched. I mean, this is a obvious statement, but I prefer the old Julie to this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
it's
do
not
too.
out of control, but you can see these differences, and I want to see how this.
Yeah.
Plus, when they add Vicky's going to get a lot of those Julie storylines as far as like the conscience of the ship, or
Yeah.
I just wonder how they utilize Lauren Tews after Vicky comes on the ship, because then it's
Yeah.
like, well, how do you involve? There's always a cast member. Like we haven't had an Isaac story in a while. Same thing. Adding
Yeah.
another crew member, does that just kind of ice out Lauren Tews
Well,
in
I
a weird
also
way?
think, and we kind of felt this way last year, but I do feel like they're just getting away from the crew focus in general,
100%.
which I don't love.
No, I don't
But
either.
yeah, I thought it a little bit last week with the, or was that 2 weeks ago with the really bad ADR and stuff, which again could have just been a technical issue.
Sure.
But it was just, there's just little things that are just like, oh, I really hope this doesn't turn into something where it becomes a different person. That
I
would be
agree.
kind of sad, knowing what
It
was
would be.
going on in the back,
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. I agree completely.
Steubing goes into his cabin with a key, by the way, and
In the
stumbles
dark
upon a drunk Miss Penny on the couch.
with all the lights out, by the
Yep.
way. just laying there like a stalker.
She says she'd never had a champagne cocktail before, and now she had a bunch that sounds like you at the World Cup that one year.
Oof. Oof. Yelling out numbers. Oh no. It's funny. My wife loves a champagne cocktail, but for her, a champagne cocktail is a glass of champagne with a raspberry in it. That's about it. There we go. Drink
It's a
up.
it's a bottle of champagne with a straw.
That's it.
Um, she says that it makes her feel a little silly. And then she also says, in another episode, this would have been the most uncomfortable line of the thing. You could take advantage of me, and there would be nothing I could do to stop you. So,
Yeah. It'd
but
be
it's
funny
played
if
for laughs.
Steubing was like, "Yeah, I know I could, but I'm not. I'm good."
Long story short, Penny is throwing herself at Steubing. He is doing his big pompous wind up to say, this can't happen. And he's trying to be the moral high ground. And she's throwing herself and throwing herself. And by the time he finally gets his speech already, she passed out.
It is funny. She becomes more Phyllis Diller when she drinks champagne
Oh, yeah.
cocktails, which
Yeah,
made me very happy.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because she does go back to Miss Penny after this.
Yeah, it was like a Jekyll and
So it
Hyde kind of
really,
thing.
it did show. Yeah.
I liked it.
Steubing once again dumps a body on his bed. So,
He's no stranger to this routine.
yeah. And that ends Act 2. Now, I want to point out
Yeah.
that the first two acts ran for about 30, 32 minutes.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It was front
Yeah,
loaded like crazy.
right. And I will say this, not a lot in there, but there ain't
No.
much behind it. So we will go fast through these
There's
last two acts.
nothing this part of the show, I've never seen them wrap everything up so quickly, but it made it happen. All right.
I will, a little behind the scenes, when I was doing the notes for this,
Mm-hmm.
I had the NBA draft on the other television because I knew it was like, well, nothing happens after Act 2.
Yeah.
It's like, so. Act 3 begins with Trish finding Danny sulking on the deck and says that he's blowing all this out of proportion. Oh, way to come in hot, Trish.
Nice,
Jeez.
Trish. Oh, I'd be so. If I saw
Yeah.
her walking up, I would just walk away. Like, there's no way. How is he not like saying like, "What is wrong with you?" Like,
Yeah.
this isn't all on Jay. It is on Jay, but like, didn't we just get married? Oh,
Well, and
Trish
you
is
know what it is too?
hateable.
So I remember on my honeymoon, I had a great time on my honeymoon, and I definitely did things in terms of like activities that I would probably never do in real life.
Yeah,
And my wife knew that this
sure.
was the greatest time to ask me to do some of that stuff. Like I will do a carriage ride because it's our honeymoon and it's whatever we
Why
want, right?
not?
Ooh,
Sure.
at some level, you can't you don't want to have a story about your honeymoon where you were a jerk. so,
Mm, that is true.
so,
That's why I agreed to ride a horse, a tiny horse in Jamaica on the beach against my will.
right,
Sir, do you
right.
want to get on the horse? And I was
So
like, well, no, I
nobody.
just want to pet the horse. Now I'm on the horse. The horse is stomping towards an approaching stingray. I'm like, this is all going to go bad.
This is
But
how
like
it
you
ends,
said, there's no better time to ask me to do something than in like this
right?
wonderful, happy, yeah, yeah.
Right. Because you don't want 8 years from now to be sitting around having a conversation about your honeymoon, and you're like, "Oh yeah, my wife tried to fuck Lyle Wagner."
Oh,
so,
oh, yeah. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Great. Oh, look, can I see the pictures from your cruise? Here's
no,
one of Jay and Trish. Here's another one of Jay and Trish. It's awful. They got mugs made. It's awful. Fucking Jay.
thanks. Our show is sponsored by Snapfish this week.
Oh, that's funny.
um, Danny says that he wants to get past it, but he can't, which I totally respect.
Yes.
Trish throws in this lame, but it's supposed to be our honeymoon. He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
and he just
dummy.
walks away. So
It's funny. I could see a situation where Danny Lucas gets off at the next port of call and flies home, a la, we've seen many people do that.
oh yeah.
If I were him, that's exactly. Do you speak Spanish? Nope. Are you familiar with any Mexican airports? Nope. But that's got to be better than this. I am out of here. Just ugh.
The next morning, Steubing is filling the crew in on the events of the previous night. He swears there were none.
Why would he? Why would he need to do that? How does anybody even know about that?
I guess they
That
were
she
asking
slept in his
because
room.
he had been dancing and then she left, so maybe they thought that they left at the same time.
That's a leap, but sure.
Um, these catty bitches have nothing better to talk about. It's
No, they
like they're
got
working.
nothing. Bunch of
Um,
busybodies.
Steubing says that he ended up sleeping on Doc's exam table. Now we have seen
That's not.
5 at least instances where Steubing has let somebody sleep in his cabin, and he's always slept on the couch. So why did he go to Doc's
Oh,
uncomfortable exam
it's
table?
simple. Steubing's like 5'8". He wanted to stretch out. It's like a king size bed for him.
I slept in a matchbox.
Would you do me a favor and push the matchbox again? I like to be covered. Just push it in. Yeah, yeah. Wants to stretch out.
Oh, God. Steubing lets the boys know that she did sleep over, but there's nothing going on. But here comes Phyllis Diller, and she's on 10. This is Phyllis Diller now. This isn't even
Yeah,
Miss Penny. This
Phyllis.
is Phyllis
Yeah,
Diller.
Penny's gone.
She said Merrill left early this morning, and she's not buying whatever chivalry act that he's selling.
Yeah, why would she say he left that morning if he said he didn't sleep there? What did he stay awake and watch her sleep all night and then go lay down? Like it doesn't.
Well, no,
Somebody's
she
lying.
said you left early this morning because she doesn't remember last night. She assumes they
Oh, she's just
hooked
assuming.
up and
Okay,
then
okay.
right.
I see. I see. Or okay, all right.
I've had to explain a lot of these to you this year.
Yeah, I just want to get the full breakdown. Okay.
um, Steubing tries to and fails to convince Penny that nothing happened, and besides that, she's already moving on to getting that sweet boat tour. So,
Oh, the award-winning boat tour. He doesn't want to give her that boat tour. He's like,
and
I
he
only
gives
do that to.
everybody a boat tour.
He
So,
doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. He's like, really, I don't know anything about this ship. I can't show you
he's
anything.
probably tired because he gave 2 boat tours last week. So
Well, at least he's well rested from that night's sleep on an exam table. I wonder if he put his feet in the stirrups when he's sleeping. Just this is comfortable. Stupid.
the captain of the ship should have a better alternative. So,
He's got a couch in his office. It's right there. Like
go
just
sleep on the deck chair like you did when the magician was there.
or maybe it's like I need to get as far away from Penny because I can't control myself. I need to go to
That's
the
true.
opposite side of the ship.
Desperate, Merrill tells Miss Penny that she really should get back to the audit. So
Ooh.
she agrees, and the captain runs away. And this is where Phyllis Diller gets her damn in. Damn, he's cute. So
There must have been like we can get 3 out. Where are we going to
3
put them?
dams. Scott slides over to Jackie's deck chair. She's not being bothered by anyone in this very public setting. And he gives her grief about the, quote, snow job that she gave him. So
Ugh.
the two have a spirited debate about celebrities and their right to privacy. And I actually thought this was a pretty interesting
It was
piece of it,
good.
especially for 1979.
It was a good
Um,
soliloquy too, just to lay it out. I thought it was
well,
good. Ahead of
and
its
you know what
time,
else
maybe.
too? I
Hmm.
think we forget because Joyce DeWitt was always like the third of the Three's Company people, but that show was a phenomenon. So even by default, she probably did have to deal with some of this stuff, right?
Oh, I
Like,
bet. I bet it was. I'm sure. I wonder what
yeah.
level it was. Like obviously, nowadays people, chasing you and all this. It couldn't have. I don't remember it being like that growing up. I mean, we always had like the Inquirer, but it was mainly like nonsense. There was no TMZ. It wasn't as just a
Well,
different time.
I think it's also, we've talked about it a lot, like when we talk about the ratings and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it's like only 3 networks. There's only
Like
50
so much.
shows.
Yeah.
You're on the number 1 or 2 or 3 show.
It's a big
We know
deal.
Suzanne Summers and John Ritter are huge, so by default, you're huge.
Well, just number of
Uh,
eyes. Each week, how many sets of eyes are watching? It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, we'll do a ratings thing in the middle of the season, maybe when
Yeah.
we have a particularly thin episode. We'll go through that. But last year they were the highest watched show on Saturday
They
night,
were.
regardless of time slot.
Yep.
The Love Boat was.
Yeah. It was like 14 million
Three's Company
viewers.
was
I bet you
way
it
bigger
went.
than the Love Boat.
Yeah.
So
Well, because again, this isn't a great TV night in the sense, right? Traditionally.
no,
So imagine if this thing was on a Thursday night.
right. I mean,
A powerhouse.
look around. Like some of the shows we talk about that are on Saturday nights are hot garbage.
Yeah,
Like,
BJ and the
so,
Bear is not going to be on Monday night.
I
Like it's
mean,
not.
we got one that got canceled already.
Yeah, yeah. American Girls,
Yeah.
the Seamuses. Yeah, it's a testing ground at best.
Have you started working on next week's episode yet?
I took a peek. Yes.
But have you done the what's on?
No, no, not yet.
What do you think is going to be the replacement? Do you think they're going to do? Because I think whatever's on
Mm,
after Big Seamus, Little Seamus is like a real show, so they can't go movie. So are
I
they going
bet
to put
you.
reruns of
I
something
bet you
on
they.
already, or do you think they have a backup show ready?
I bet you they'll show the first episode again because they love to do that. They did that with
Oh,
American Girls, and then
that's even
something will come the week
worse.
after. Yeah.
Oh,
I
that
mean,
would be
that's the only
worse.
thing I can think of as far as the lead in. What a beautiful lead in because you have viewers on that back end. Like, how do you not throw a sitcom in there? Which they did, but it's interesting. I'm interested to see. Yeah, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's got to be a hot spot. I mean, you want to throw something in there to at least be
Yeah.
competitive, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Like I think BJ and the Bear makes sense in that it's such a different show.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to end
I
up being a
agree.
rerun. It's going to be like a Kojak rerun or something.
It'll be yeah, in a Columbo TV movie or some
Yeah.
stupid thing like that. Yeah.
Anyway, when they're done with this conversation about, celebrity privacy, Scott finally just asks who the mystery man is. I know there is one, and Doc, his ears perk up, the Doc signal goes up, and
Docs.
he comes over and he plays the part of Jackie's lover. Honey, the gig is up. The jig is up. And shockingly, it fools this crack Starlight reporter immediately.
Not Walt the photographer. He's suspicious.
So Scott says, I have to go find the photographer. I'll be back in a half hour. Don't make me chase you. And Doc is very excited about the street cred that he's going to get for being on the cover of Starlight magazine as
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Lander's lover.
He's got his chest hair brush out already. Just can I have a second to put these things in order? Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
Ring the bell. We have a new set.
We do have a new set.
We have a boat gym. What a
Hold on.
gym.
What a sparsely populated gym. I guess gym equipment was very expensive in the 70s because there's not a
Or
lot of it.
very, like, there wasn't a lot of it.
They look like torture devices too.
The one
Everything's on
guy's got like
springs.
the one guy's got the Barry Keys like stretcher thing. Like,
And they got like the
yeah,
thing like
it's all
somebody's going like
carpeted.
this.
Classic gym carpeting. Like,
They all look. It looks like Rodney Dangerfield's home gym. Like you could see him in there in a sweatsuit. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It just was ridiculous.
Trish walks through the gym and all these, muscular men.
Ugh, here we go.
And she heads into, now are we calling this a sauna or a steam room?
Either or.
Yeah.
I say sauna.
So do we think this is a different sauna than Larry Storch broke through with a drill?
Oh, good call.
Or have they renovated?
Oh, I'm sure they've renovated by now. But the only thing that's weird to me is generally on the sauna thing that they're not co-ed.
Yeah.
Like at my gym, it was in the where the locker room area was. So it wasn't you didn't have men and women going in the sauna together. Because some dudes go in there
That's
like
why I
naked
wondered
and
if this
stuff.
was
It's
like a
not good.
steam, like this is a steam room versus that's a sauna or vice versa.
She went in there looking
So
for some attention, Mike. Oh, I'm just gonna go in this steamy sauna with these men. She is
yeah.
shady, dude. She is shady.
Well, you'll.
Why is she leaving? Why is she leaving her man now?
Well, my
Why
guess
are you not
is that
talking to him?
he's not. I wonder where he is at this time.
He's not. He's not
So,
working out. Not yet.
well, not yet. Not angrily.
Not
Um,
angrily.
Mike, you will never guess who is
Hmm.
in the sauna
Who? Who?
by himself.
Who's?
Jay Kavanaugh.
No.
I know
No.
of all the
Of
gin
all the
joints.
gin joints, of all the cruise ship saunas.
Okay. I want to know if this is the Google search you went on.
All right.
Jay sneaks up behind her and says, "Guess who?" Trish says, "The Shah of Iran."
Yeah.
So the Shah of Iran in September of 1979 was living in exile after the Ayatollah overthrew the government. He would live in exile in multiple countries for about another year before he died of pretty pervasive cancer that he had. But we are smack in the Iran mess right now. So any mention of that is fascinating when they do it. So
Interesting. That was not my Google, but I happen to know a little something about this because it affects some family members that I have. I'll be vague, but I will say that I am related to people who was the accountant for the Shah. When this whole thing went down, they're like, look, you can stay and you might, get eliminated, or you can leave, lose all your money, but live. That's what they chose and move to the United States. So the son of this person married my aunt. So it was an interesting.
that is
They
interesting.
told me for years, and I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, that knowledge finally pays off in episode 55. So, it's
Can
very
I?
interesting. Yeah, it was a whole exodus out of that
Yeah,
country.
it is interesting too because you think of an overthrow of a country, but usually the leaders don't make it out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there had just been a big peace negotiation with Sadat, who didn't make it out of it, and Jimmy
Nope.
Carter. So I think the U.S. probably helped, that envoy.
Get
But
them out.
yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, they got them
so
out.
interesting. At this point, my ears are always up for any kind of actual reference to current
Sure.
events. But as we are now in September, October of '79, we are going into 1980, which is obviously a big year for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um, so, also, I will say, because you've done this enough
Hmm.
recently, I was waiting for you to start pulling out a plot of an action movie when you started talking about it.
Oh, I should have. I just another BJ and the Bear sort of synopsis turns
Yeah,
into
it's
yeah.
me and 7 lady truckers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was an
Che,
interesting.
good.
Yeah. No, it's just a funny reference that you would never hear now,
Yeah,
like someone bringing up the Shah of
no,
Iran.
no. Jay says Trish married Danny on the rebound. I didn't know that rebound was a phrase back then. That was
I didn't either.
nice to hear. She's not
I
wrong,
could
or
see
he's not
that.
wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all.
He keeps making his moves. Trish finally asks him to stop.
She's not.
You're going to ruin my marriage, which takes some ownership in that, Trish. But um, Jay responds by picking her up and carrying her out of the sauna through the gym. Now, this is where
So
Jay has crossed an
ridiculous.
actual line.
Not
And
with
if this
her.
boat had any security, he would be in the jail along with the photographer of Starlight magazine.
Yeah, but the
So
security would be like, it's just Jay Kavanaugh being Jay Kavanaugh. We can't even be mad at that. For him to pick her up. The other thing I want to say is in the sauna, he's wearing a gold necklace. From experience, something's not right. Don't wear a necklace into a sauna. I used to wear like a St. Christopher's medallion. and that thing would
It's hot.
it was like Raiders of the Lost Ark. That thing would get so hot. So just hey, before you go in the sauna, take off your necklaces.
So he's carrying her like in a beginning part of an airplane spin, basically, and you'll never guess who walks into the gym.
Cruise director
Oh,
Julie McCoy. No.
no. Poor Danny Lucas walks right in on this scene of his wife being carried like a sack of garbage by her ex-boyfriend.
So we're
And he's like,
done. If we're
yeah,
Danny at this point, like we were done before, where are you now?
yeah.
What is your reaction if you're Danny at this point after like another one?
Well, I guess to your point, and maybe we just needed this scene. We've gotten this scene, the moon expert,
Yeah.
which we had some weird questions about his chasing his fiance, when she
So
got mad.
boldly. Yeah.
But they at least mentioned that he had like been banging on her door all night or something like that. Like
Right.
we
Right.
needed some reference between that deck scene the night before and this. What were you actually trying to do? Where did you sleep? Did
Oh,
you
she was
call a bunch of times?
well, because
Like
Mike, when you're upset about something, you go to an all male sauna to think
just
about it.
take a nice fits.
Just like there's no regret. There's no, let me write down how I feel. I didn't mean to do this. Nothing. What is he? He's just they're both just wandering the ship independently. She was looking for Jay Kavanaugh. Come on.
She kind of was.
She
Yeah,
was
she's
looking for him.
she's got him tracked.
She
Like,
knows. Now you're stuck in this hot room.
there's a photo shoot on the deck. Stock and Jackie are posing for the prestigious Starlight photographer cover shoot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now those pictures are going to come out great with that outdoor light and yeah, okay. That's a great photographer there,
Yeah,
Walter
we don't
Matthau.
think any kind of like
Nothing.
something
no
like a
light,
shade or
nothing.
something.
A shade, like an extra flash, nothing. He's like, I got this.
Also,
Okay.
Doc, we know you got other clothes, dude. You wearing that?
Yeah, I don't know why he would wear. Let me put on
It's all going
I
great
have
until
I
Billy
have a pair
shows
of
up.
shorts. I have shorts that are a bit shorter if those work. I don't know if you want them shorter. Go ahead. Sorry.
Billy shows up and kind of runs over to his mom. Mommy. Walt, the photographer, is
This is the
on it.
best part of the episode.
He's like, hey, wait a minute. He's Mommy. And he starts like firing photos off like it's the Kennedy assassination.
Oh, I smell something afoot. Click, 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 click. Yeah, it's great.
So, Jackie and Scott both tell Walt to cool it, but this is where he jumps into his time to shine and he just starts explaining that Doc's just a front and the kid's the story. What a scoop.
What a scoop. Click, 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 click. Good Lord, Scott, you're asleep at the wheel, buddy.
So Billy shows off his writing and Scott kind of gets it pretty quick. It took the photographer a little longer, but he got it, and everyone's just kind of standing there quietly.
Yeah.
And Jackie kind of says, sends him back to the cabin, and then kind of immediately sounds off, laying into Scott like a defense, kind of just, don't ruin his life. Basically what we've been seeing, but she's she is kind of rattled, and she kind of, I feel like that probably felt real. Like that would be a in the moment reaction.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, because I if you feel bad, you're dancing with a dude, you're smashing your face against him, you're allowing a bottle of wine, you're going to a sauna, you're not even with your husband, you're allowing him to pick you up.
Wait, we're not talking about that.
I'm still
we're talking
on that.
about the reporter part.
I apologize. Yeah.
That's different.
So
Can you
bad.
imagine if Jay Kavanaugh and Trish were getting photographed by the Starlight photographer for the cover?
Hey, Walt, do me a favor. Follow these people. Jesus, I got lost in that. I'm still so bent out of shape about it.
Best part of the episode, I think, was Doc. After Jackie leaves, he turns to the reporter and he says, I'd be very careful about my next move.
Look at him.
Doc has moved into first place based solely on that line delivery.
Oh yeah, the podium's not even close for second and third based on this. And the look. Did you
Yeah.
see the look he gave him?
Yep. Great. Just
Great.
absolutely great.
Good for you, Doc.
All right. Mrs. Penny is wrapping up Steubing's audit and gives him a gold star. Of course, Merrill would have pristine books.
Well, yeah, because that's how the IRS they label their audits with gold
Yeah.
stars. She's got. I'll give this one a sticker. Great job.
Yeah. I'm too busy to sit down for an audit, but my files are immaculate.
That doesn't make any sense, but yeah. Here we
Penny,
go,
I
Mike.
assume she does this after every audit. She's looking for some hooch.
You shouldn't find
And when
it
she's
in Steubing's office.
so there's an ice bucket with some booze in it in Steubing's office, which, as we all know, this must be for somebody else, right?
Oh, sure, it's not mine.
Yeah. But as much as we'd like to focus on, straight edge Steubing having booze in his office, the real crime is here as she's pulling the bottle out of the ice bucket. What's in the bottom of the ice bucket but thousands of dollars in
Cold
cash?
hard cash. A lot of ones in there. I was thinking like that's not that deep of a bucket to have thousands.
No,
If all you're showing me are singles and like a single $5 bill and maybe a $2 bill. Like there's just
there's
not enough
one
room.
gold coin in the bottom. So,
The doubloon is worth, yeah.
all right, that takes us to commercial. We on to, as we said, these last couple acts are pretty fast. So there's a big party on the Lido deck, and Julie
Is it
manages
an,
to find an absolutely despondent Danny, who is just sad sacking because his wife of 48 hours is hooking up with Jake Kavanaugh. So,
I want to say this like shame on you for yet another Mexican fiesta night, this time by the
yeah,
pool. I feel like Julie's a
yeah,
real one-trick pony with these events.
yeah. Like
Why
Steubing
not why not
criticized it a couple weeks ago. He's
yeah,
not
why not
wrong.
why not do a sock hop?
Um, Danny, I don't know what Danny was trying to get out of all this, but Julie was
Nobody
zero
knows.
help with it. So
Yeah.
he's just like, so. Meanwhile, Trish is being a sad sack over there with Jay, but she is over there with Jay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe don't sit with that guy.
Yeah,
But
don't yeah. She yeah, why would they after she did what she did to him and now she's sitting with him, it's like she's going, well, my marriage is over. I'll just hang out with you now. Like pretty much. She would be the last person she would be
well,
sitting next to.
and so the thing we didn't see, right, is did she sit at a table and he came over? Which, sure, don't take yourself
Still.
out of that.
Yeah,
Take yourself
get up
out
and
of that.
walk.
Like,
Yeah, your
stay in your
legs
room.
don't work. Yeah.
Why
Why are
are
you getting
these
all
two
dressed
in
up
the
going
dining
down
room?
to the
They
lounge? It doesn't make
right,
any sense. She's not upset.
yeah.
She's like, nope, I could eat a giant meal and have some drinks and go dancing right now. I'm not that upset at all. Really? Danny who?
I mean, we already paid for this. I might as well get something out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Jay.
The marriage coupling on the boat this season has been piss poor.
Yeah,
So,
it's not going well.
Doc asks Steubing where Miss Penny is. Steubing has no idea, but she pops up before he can really answer, and she tells Merrill that he's busted. He has
Busted.
no idea what's happening.
No,
so,
he's completely clueless.
um, so he goes to follow her. Scott approaches Jackie and asks to talk. He lets her know that those photographer pictures will never see the light of day and that he's bailing on the assignment. He was never comfortable with it at all, Mike.
No, of course not. Of course not.
No. Reporter with a heart of gold. Scott does make the pretty good suggestion, actually, that Jackie's story with Billy is actually a really good story.
It is a good
And
story.
in the hands of a better publication is probably worth telling. So I this is where I kind of thought the storyline itself was pretty good because it gets to
I do
good
too.
spots,
It was a good transition.
Yeah.
from what it was in Stupid Walt to kind of leaving you with like a good taste. I
Yeah.
thought it was a nice way to sort of wrap it up.
Back to the awful newlyweds. So Jay has finally worn Trish down to the point where they can dance.
Mm,
So Trish seems to be a little more accepting of these Jay moves than previously.
hmm
And I'm sure she would say, well, I had a plan, right? But,
Of course, of course.
you know,
Yeah, but that's mm-mm, mm-mm.
yeah.
That's like it's like everything accidentally working out, and you go, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I meant to do it."
Yeah. This is
This is
basically Jabba the Hutt rescue
yes,
plan.
yes,
Like,
exactly. And the thing is with her, this is gonna, and I would love to get like an after the boat special on these two, because
oh,
this did not. He
yeah, we
either
should
left her
let's
after the
let's leave
boat
a
or
few minutes. Let's leave a few minutes for that because you're absolutely right.
good lord.
Um, so she doesn't want to get hurt. She doesn't want to get left for another snake handler, which I guess is who Jay dumped her for last time. You know,
That'd be
Jay
funny. Real snake handler. That'd
Jay's
be
like,
kind
"Come
of
on,
cool.
baby, it's not like that this time." And he tries to get her back to the cabin. She says she's scared. Um, and asks if he still loves her, and Jay says, "Of course, baby." So this is where Trish asks him to get up, in front of all these people and proclaim his love for her.
He's got no problem for that. He doesn't care. He's Jake Kavanaugh. It's not the first time he's been
So,
asked to do
so,
this.
so Jay Kavanaugh's like, "Let me go up to the band, grab that microphone, make
It's a
this
bold
announcement, and then
move.
get Trish in the sack." So the band
Easy
is
peasy.
playing. The band is playing. And Jay Kavanaugh goes over to the band and they're playing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're playing. And Jay goes, "Hold it." And they stop
Wait, on
as
a
soon as
dime.
says,
The tightest band in the land.
he says, he says, "Hold it a minute." And he gets to about "muh," and the music stops like dead. So,
Their timing was all. That's those sharp cruise ship bands can turn on a dime. We anticipate your needs. Sure.
anyway,
Yeah.
um, Jay does his announcement. Trish has a rebuttal and says, "This guy isn't capable of loving anybody. You know who is. You know who's taking an example from. It's that guy over there, my husband of 15 minutes." Um,
That sucker over there. That's who you should take after. He let
yeah.
me just rub my body all over this gentleman's for 3 days, and look at him. He'll take me back right now. Watch.
Somehow, this fixes
Disgusting.
everything.
Oh, this is it. Oh, good. We're good.
She has, like, I guess, made Jake Kavanaugh the fool. She says that Danny's a good guy. She runs across, they hug, and that's it. This is the most unearned I think we've seen since the guy with the hooker
Scot
problem.
free. Yeah, scot free.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this isn't stopping Jake Kavanaugh, by the way. You think this
It's
is
not
going to stop
stopping
him?
Trish.
It's not doing anything.
No.
You know what it is? It's a false flag operation. That's what it is. She wants to show her husband. It's all nonsense. All nonsense. Like he won't
Just
suspect
awful.
anything. We got to just put up this front. I
Terrible.
guarantee you, right now, she's in the arms of Jake Kavanaugh. Right now, as we speak.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
100%. Because here's the thing. Even if Danny wasn't a jealous person, which he probably wasn't, just based on his actions,
He is
he will
now.
become a jealous person.
He
How
can't
could you
help it.
not?
Every time you go to
Right.
work, he's like, ugh. He ordered Kavanaugh auto part, Kavanaugh brake pads. Oh
Oh,
no, I
ugh.
can't.
Anytime I see a handsome vest.
That's it. That's it. Or anything chestnut brown. Jeez.
Mahogany.
Mahogany.
Another always great when we get a front of the end and back of the end padding shot. We get another long sequence.
Dude, they are just. There was a sale on stock footage
Yeah.
because it was
Like,
we're loading in boxes in the ship, and they even had a porthole, a stock porthole this week. Not port. I'm sorry, a stock ticker tape scene this week.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like they are just throwing it away.
Although I guess
Remember?
that makes sense. This would have been a weird ticker tape week.
Well,
you
you
wouldn't
could
have
have
had the
had the two
celebrity.
honeymooners and Jay
Yeah,
leering
it
in the
just would have been the
back.
honeymooners and maybe Jay, right? So Miss Penny is back in her serious clothes, and she comes to Stubing's office. He has sent for her because he needs to know
Tell me.
where's the discrepancy. I've gone through my records with a fine-tooth comb, and I can't find anything. So Miss Penny starts to wind up with her accusations. Before she can get too far, door knocks, and it's Gopher.
Yep.
Gopher said that, let's see, the steward, what was the steward's name?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
Gopher
about, though.
says that Steward Fowler is about to leave the ship for his mother's surgery.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Merrill's like, oh, hang on a second. He starts to roll up his sleeves. He heads over to the ice bucket and he just starts peeling off bills.
Singles.
So,
well, it
the
shows you
explanation,
how accessible that alcohol is to him. Like it's right
Stubing's,
behind him. Yeah.
so the steward's mom is having surgery.
Right.
So the crew emergency fund, last seen being handed to Wendell Sneed in episode 20. Out of a box, by the way.
They've really recouped
and it was only
a lot of funds.
$650 at that time. So the dues have gone up immensely since season 1.
Considerably.
$2,000 for surgery. I don't know what the HMO situation
surgery.
was back in 1979.
Was that your copay? Like, what's going on?
Stubing says, don't worry about paying it back. And I'm like, well, man, if the passenger who tried to rip you guys off doesn't have to pay it back, I'm not paying it back.
Yeah, certainly. You let Wendell off the hook. You need to let everyone off the hook.
Yeah. So anyway, Stubing basically is like, I'm going to pay for this guy's mom's surgery because we're a family. That's what a emergency fund is for.
But he's not going to see him face to face. Like, you don't see the guy face to face that's getting the money for the surgery for the mom, which it should have been. But
he needs plausible deniability. So.
I can't actually give it to him. Yeah, I need a middleman.
So why? We have now seen this fund twice. I'm glad it's back. I'm going to call this continuity.
Sure.
Even though it is.
I'm with you. I'll give you
thin,
that.
But the continuity streak continues.
Sure.
Why? So we've seen it used twice. This makes sense.
Yeah.
This guy's mom needs surgery. Maybe it's for a shady reason and they can't go through the princess insurance. Who knows? Fine. That makes sense. The other $650, of course, went to a guy who tried to scam the boat. Doesn't work for the boat.
No.
It's the employee emergency fund and you gave it to a not employee.
You gave it to, who cheated you out of money. Yeah.
Why was this fund not used to pay for Tony Santini's entire family?
That is a good point. And I did think about that too. I was like, well, who else needed this money? And the first thing was Tony's family right off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, the real answer is don't tell anybody. It's free.
No.
But if you're going to have to, pay the princess, that's where that money should have come from.
It's a selective process. Maybe it's a, secret tally. Do we pay for it? Do we not? Yes, no. I don't know. It's weird. It's very selective.
Well,
and also, I don't think that, but Stubing shouldn't have that money. The role of Gopher of purser on the ship is to secure all valuables in that safe. You'd think that securing the crew fund in the safe would be a lot better than having thousands of dollars in Stubing's liquor cabinet right behind him. Like, Stubing shouldn't even be involved. That's Gopher's job.
Because I guess we are not sure that they were ever aware that the safe room was broken into, right?
Right.
Except for the hole in the ceiling.
But they've never used the safe since.
You're right.
I mean, maybe they have, but this is a perfect opportunity to throw it somewhere. But I guess you want to link it to the story. And
if you're asking me what's a better place to put $2,000 in cash, a safe or an ice bucket, I would say.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Yeah, that's an easy fork in the road. Sure.
Especially with the way Stubing just lets people sleep in his room. Every old person who has a fight with their spouse is sleeping over.
Well, that key wasn't hidden either. And she left it unlocked.
No, you're telling me Mark Harmon's dad, well, he was dying, maybe not, but the great Alonzo's wife wasn't stealing that money? Like,
Right? That's
anyway,
funny. Anyway.
Penny asks for forgiveness. Steuben gives it to her. And then Phyllis Diller ends this baby with a, oh, Meryl, which is great. And Steuben gives a kind of a, oh, no, to the camera, which is pretty good as we go to the end of the act. But like we said, very fast acts here.
Very fast act.
Act 5, let's get off this boat. Danny
Yeah.
and Trish leave the ship and they run into Jay, which gives Danny the opportunity to call him Ray. Great. So how long are they married, do you think? Do they make it to episode 10?
No.
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 Yeah.
No.
There's no
She's
coming
gonna
back.
start hitting on somebody on the way home that she sees in traffic. Like you can't.
It just doesn't matter now because you have someone who is going to be jealous, right or wrong, probably right. You have the other person who is not acknowledging her actions in that. Yeah, just and you have a bad honeymoon and you can't tell your honeymoon story now to people.
Exactly. I just think they're a recipe for no. She's a recipe for disaster. It's
Yeah.
got nothing to do. And poor Danny is just he's in way over his head.
He
Like
should
I
have
feel
stood
like
up for himself a little bit more, but yes, a lot of this happened to him.
but you're
So,
setting it. I feel like he set himself up for it to happen again based on his super weak. He
yeah.
didn't do anything to stop this. He didn't like
No.
have a moment to be like, get away from her. She's not going to respect that.
Well, it's not just that.
Especially,
He didn't really have a real conversation with her.
no,
It's not
no.
like he didn't want to fight Jay because he was a big dude, but also they went toe to toe, right? He didn't really push it
Well,
against her.
he talked to
So,
her, but not, he didn't push like he should have pushed. But it's almost like
right.
even in him like breezing over it, she was just like, oh, if you're not going to be a man and confront me on this, I'm just going to keep doing it until you do. She is a, it's
You
never going to work.
know who this wouldn't have
Huh.
happened to?
Who? Who? Who wouldn't it have happened to? I'm sorry. You're breaking up.
Um, Captain Dave and his wife.
Oh, zero chance. Zero
Because
chance.
those were two people who, while their marriage probably will fail, those two people were not going to take it lying down, right?
No.
So,
Well, it's a principle thing. So, yeah.
well, respect your spouse.
There's
You know?
zero respect there.
Yeah.
It seems like it very much was a rebound thing. She's never over Jay. I'll show Jay. I'll book our honeymoon on the same cruise that I know he's going to be on. Come on.
Yep. Yeah, it would have been funny if like Jay Kavanaugh takes this cruise the same time every year. She's been on it
Yep.
like 3 times with him.
That's
So
where
she
they
knew.
met. That's where they met
Yeah.
originally.
Yep. Jackie and the crew are heading out, but she's got something to say to Scott. She tells him that she's taking him up on that suggestion about telling the story of her and Billy to a leading news syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
Scott's happy about that. But somehow Jackie is such a big star that she has gotten the leading news syndicate to hire a smut writer, basically, to write
Funny.
this very nice story. She's never seen any of his work.
Yeah, not even a writing sample. Just go
Nope.
ahead. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're great.
Yeah. So I'm sure that'll be great. I think her management team needs some work. We need to
I agree.
maybe get like some CAA in there or somebody a little better.
Or Deacon Dark's manager. He needs to manage her too and keep her away from all
Oh,
this
Artie
nonsense.
Johnson wouldn't put
He'd
up with
be
any of
perfect.
this stuff.
No, God no.
Yep.
Wouldn't have happened.
And she could have come on the ship in Deacon Dark makeup.
Oh, which would have been perfect. They would never know it's her. They'd think it's Deacon Dark.
Merrill is telling Miss Penny that he feels like he's been treated like a sex object.
Jeez.
She says she's willing to wait for him and heads out. This whole mess ends with Stubing admitting that he forgot to ask how the audit went. And they go chase her down. And that's it. Thank
That's
God
it.
for episode 4.
I never, I didn't think, I'm surprised that it has taken us this long to talk about this episode, meaning, as of right now, this is the longest episode we've ever recorded. And I never imagined that
Seriously?
it would be, yes. We're about 2.5 hours right now. I never imagined
Jesus.
that this would be the episode that would cause this. Wow.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Apologies to everyone. Totals and
Yes. Sorry.
recap. King of the Mountain.
No.
Best episode 1, worst episode 2. This worse than 2? I don't know.
I don't know. It's close. It's close.
So I think the argument for this not being worse than 2 is similar to the argument we had about last week not being worse than 2, which is there is one good storyline. I do think the
Yeah.
tax audit
It was fine. It was
was
fine.
good. Phil Stiller was good. This one annoyed me. Like, the worst storyline of this was probably the worst that we've
Yeah.
seen.
I still say 2 was
I think we'll just
worse
put it
than
in
this
the.
one. Yeah,
I think you're right.
It's splitting hairs, really. It's close.
I think it's 2. I think it's still 2 because I do
Yeah.
think the Jackie Landers storyline on the page is good.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there was just some touches that they needed that didn't happen. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really bad.
Okay.
Captain of the Week.
I'm going to say Simon Scott for not writing the story. Again, we didn't have a whole lot to choose from as far as Captain of the Week. That's the only thing I could go to for him not writing it. You?
I'm going Phyllis Diller. I thought she was really good.
Yeah.
Like we said, kind of playing two people, including herself, basically.
Mhm.
So I did enjoy that. I also, and I mentioned it earlier, I thought Doc did a lot of good work in that
Good for
storyline.
Doc.
He was probably the best for me of that particular storyline. Worst of the week, I think we know.
I mean, Patricia Lucas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's super easy. And she's not even like a villain, like a cool villain like we've seen in previous episodes. She's just hateable.
This is, we talk about it a lot during the subbies, the difference between the best villain category and the worst category. This is the difference. She's not a villain. Jay Kavanaugh is actually the villain in this one.
Yeah.
But she's the worst. And this is bad. And again, no comeuppance, which we all love. So
we love it.
Anyway, that's totals and a recap for this week.
Plugs. Hitting season Patreon, absolutely hammered. Whether you're cheering from the stands or tuning in from home, this is the podcast you need. So grab your bat, your cap, and your Phillies pride. Crack open a beer and enjoy a weekly Phillies happy hour with Chris Jones, Justin Clue, and our very own Mike Robertson. Check out Absolutely Hammered on the Hitting Season Patreon. You can find us everywhere you find your audio podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Player FM, Podcast Addict. I said it twice because I like it so much. Pocket Cast, Deezer, and my new favorite, Listen Notes. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It helps out immensely. You can also check out our video podcast on YouTube. Look for us on Instagram and Facebook. You'll see weekly reels and updates. And let me check the old mailbag, Mike. It's been a while.
Excellent.
Not only do we have mail, we have a returning emailer, and it's about the episode we just talked about. So this is perfect timing.
I'm so sorry.
I'm terrible. This is from Leslie C., who has emailed us before. She's saying, I think this was an excellent use of Phyllis Diller. What else? She asked, is Lyle Wagner the Tannis guy to ever gone on a cruise?
Until George Hamilton shows up.
Which he's going to be on here, I would imagine. I hope. Is he just going from one cruise to the next in that pool outfit that looks like something from the 20s? All right. She follows up some points we said. Is a 3-day domestic cruise from LA really giving a star privacy? Probably not. Yeah. What else? Kearns. She felt like there was a Kearnsing because of the sun, but she felt like that was for creative purpose.
Oh man, Leslie was on on point with us this week.
Well, another thing she added here is thank God they kept the quote mystery man thing under control after the daughter dying dad incest episode, which again we brought up. Great point.
Good job.
She says again, and she brings up another point. What is Gopher's job? They say he's the purse, or shouldn't that include being trusted with the emergency funds, which we talked about as well.
Man,
we
might have to have Leslie do this.
Leslie's great. She talks a bit about Joyce DeWitt, surprised by the language. She didn't like the dams or sexes either.
Damn.
Damn. I took a helicopter ride to the Hoover Darn. Sorry to be long. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Leslie.
Hey, that might be the title of this episode. Sorry to be long. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, no kidding. You can email us at theloveboatproject@gmail.com. Mike, did you look ahead? I looked ahead.
The only thing I know about next week is that it stars Don Amici, the great Don Amici. I do not know the plots.
Gopher makes his long-awaited return to the stage. We make
Singing?
it. We. What's that?
He was just on the stage like 4 episodes ago.
I know he's back. We meet the ultra stuffy Byron, and
another
as you said, we
guy?
welcome another stuffy guy. We welcome Don Amici to the boat. Big fan of Don Amici. I expect big things from him.
A little tease for next episode. I will reach out to my mom to confirm this. I believe I am in some way related to Don Amici, who is from Philadelphia. But
that's fantastic.
I will have that lineage for next episode.
Well, it'll be an Amici heavy episode next time.
And hopefully better than this one. These are 3 bad ones in a row. Not a great start after an encouraging first one, but you're always one episode away from greatness.
We're just it's an opportunity to see a better episode is the way I look at it.
Oh God. I don't think I can take a worse episode. Are we just killing time until Vicky shows up?
It seems that way. Either Vicky or Don Knotts. I don't know who we're biding time for at this point.
I think those might be back to back, so we might be close to both. But
that's good.
But as for this one, again, somehow this was our longest episode. So God bless all of you who stayed with us the whole time. But we will talk to you again for episode 56. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And we'll talk to you next time.